What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Craving Wild podcast episode. This is episode 63. We have on Evan Makuvek. He's a local trout slayer. Actually, he's just more of a boat rower. If you listen to the episode, you'll get that. So Evan is a guide, and what he guides is fly fishing float trips, specifically in our area of Pennsylvania. So if that's something that interests you, we're gonna have all the information in the Instagram, on our Instagram post, and we'll obviously tag him. So if it's something you're local, you don't even have to be local, but if it's something that interests you, by all means, reach out to either us or, more importantly, reach out to him. We will get you to him though, and book a trip because it's gonna fill fast for him. He's an absolute wealth of knowledge when it comes to trout fishing. And you can tell he's just absolutely ate up by this. You could just the podcast. It was like a 2-hour podcast, right? And as the minutes went by, you can just see him get more and more and more and more excited, and it got me excited. I'm not a huge trout fisherman by any means. I do enjoy fishing. I'll do it here and there, but I don't think I've ever been this excited for trout fishing. I don't know if it was this podcast. I don't know what it was, but now all of a sudden, I just really, I was looking at trout rods, looking at, just watching YouTube videos and different ways to catch trout. So just super excited to get into trout season. And this, obviously this podcast played a part in it. So if you're a fisherman or you're just looking forward to do something other than, sitting around the house, or, you're trying to catch up on sleep from deer season, trout season's the perfect time to get back out there and enjoy the wild. Updates for us. Not really much, guys. Not really much. It's the Craving Wild Championship is we're all within pretty much 20 points of each other, which is crazy that we went the whole hunting season and we're all within 20 points, and we killed just about everything in Pennsylvania, really, short of a bear. All the seasons are relatively closed. There's some, random sporadic seasons that are open, and, some seasons that are open year round that are still going, but it's pretty much going to come down to turkey season. So that's going to be nuts, just because it's this close. It's going to be, quite the interesting end to the season. It's pretty much, I think we're going to end it May 31st, the last day of turkey season. And then we do have a belt that we're going to give out to whoever wins that. And we'll start all over again for the new year. We're probably going to do some new rule changes. For those of you who don't know, that it's just basically we just on a podcast we just threw some point values for animals to harvest the animals, and as we did that throughout the year, we just kind of kept track, and we just kept adding up and adding up and adding up and adding up. And here we are. So we'll probably have a whole episode on that just in itself. For whatever reason, everyone seems very interested in that. So, we got that. That's pretty much on pause right now. Other than that, guys, there's really not a whole hell of a lot going on. We got, target seasons are ending. We're coming into 3D seasons, which a lot of them started already. A lot of them are going on for a month now. So, get your bows out, get shooting them. Now's the time. Before we know it, you're going to go through turkey season. It'll be the end of May, then it'll be June and July, then it'll be too goddamn hot and the bugs will be out, and you just kind of find excuses for everything. So just keep shooting the bow. That's the most important thing, especially if you're a bow hunter. If you're a fisherman, listen to this episode. Ignore this part. But yeah, just shoot the bow, guys. You won't be disappointed. You won't regret those decisions to shoot the bow now in October, November, December, the end of this year. What else do we have? Trout season, obviously, coming up here in April. Super pumped about that. And then immediately following is turkey season. So the next 3 months are going to be nuts. We pretty much got a whole month of sheds, looking for sheds, scouting, a whole month of trout fishing, and then a whole month of turkey hunting with a whole bunch of other random shit in between. So we are going to be busy. We're going to have a lot of stuff to come at you guys. We have a good mix of people coming down the pipe now. With some absolute, deer slayers, quote unquote, coming, we have them booked, ready to go. It's just a matter of time before we get them in the studio. But like I said, some other, not just deer hunters, we're definitely going to branch out and tag some other people. So we're actually planning on having Evan back on the show because he's an absolute, he just does ridiculous shit outside, which is cool as hell to talk to. talk to him about, and the gear side of things really interests me. So we plan on having him back to talk about, primarily quote unquote backcountry type camping in severe weather. So that'll be its own episode. That I don't know when that'll come out. That probably won't come out till summer or even coming into the fall. But yeah, really, really, really looking forward to that, because that translates very, very good into deer hunting, like backcountry deer hunting, even elk hunting, like any kind of backcountry stuff, just more survival while you're doing whatever task you want to be doing out in the woods. So other than that, guys, we are going to get you into the episode, and I hope you guys enjoy. Get ready, hide your credit cards, because I guarantee you're going to want to buy trout fishing stuff after this. I hope you guys enjoy.
Float, and it's been awesome.
That's sweet, dude.
Yeah.
It's awesome that it just took right off, really.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Is there like a name that you have for like the business for the boat?
Just Makuvek Fly Fishing. So my last name, Makuvek Fly Fishing, is the name of my business. I didn't really know where I wanted to take it. Obviously guiding, but I didn't know if down the road I wanted to do more photography with fishing, or I tie a bunch of flies. I don't know if I want to like get that in that realm with the commercial tying. So I just kept it simple with Makuvek Fly Fishing.
Dude, fly tying is so much fun.
It is, yeah.
Like,
do you tie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's got my shit. I retired. I had an early retirement. My fingers stopped working real well.
I
Tying
suck
22s is rough.
hands down suck. I can make a decent woolly booger, and that's about it.
Oh, there you go. That's all you need.
That's
That's
about
all
it.
you need.
That's all I can do.
Yeah, that's all you need.
I tried a 22 size dry fly once. Bro, a booger looks better than that shit.
Mine started to save money, right?
Yeah.
So I used to, I had a cabin up in upstate New York for salmon fishing, and we would go there every year since I was like pretty much old enough to not complain that it was cold outside.
Okay.
And every year, my dad, I would have a limited amount of money, right? Because you're a kid, and the flies were the most expensive part of it. And I remember, you ever hear Estes flies?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's pretty much all we used was Estes flies up there. And I forget what the price was, but I'm like looking at the material and looking at the flies, and I can make like 50 of these flies for the same price of like 6.
Yeah, 100%.
So then I spent $17,000 on fly tying. And yeah, that's pretty much where it went. I spent a lot of money up at what's that one that's by Francis E. Walter Dam?
Evening Hatch.
Yes.
Evening Hatch.
Yeah.
I used to go there. The old guys, like, you could tie with them.
Yep.
And I think just because I was young, they just wanted some young blood in there to talk to and tell stories to.
Oh, for sure.
But
For sure.
they're all cool.
Yep.
Really, really cool. Have you dealt with them? Or
Yeah, I love going up there. They're all super nice. Mr. T, the old shop teacher, he works up there on Thursdays.
Oh, wait.
Metal shop.
Metal shop. I never
Yeah.
had metal shop, but I think I know.
Krasinski.
Yes.
I went in there like last year on a Thursday, so he's only there Thursdays. But I haven't seen him in years. Super awesome guy. For those of you that don't know him, and it was just cool like linking up with someone. And like this winter, I've been there, probably 5 times. Just go up, grab some supplies, and it's just kind of like a bullshit session. Talking with the guys.
You can spend a lot of time there.
They're always tying, and it's fun. Then I really should start going up more, during the busy season, just to see what's happening, who's catching what, and when there's a lot more guys in there.
Now, when you're floating or drifting, do you use a lot of flies, or are you doing mostly like egg sacs or fake eggs?
It's mostly flies. I started using some eggs this past fall, actually. Some other guys have told me that they've had some luck with eggs. We've caught a couple with egg patterns, but again, this is like the first year that I've used them. Your typical like little foamy salmon type patterns or like micro eggs. But yeah, I definitely want to try some more this fall. Fall's the time of year to try that. But usually your streamers, nymphs, and dry flies.
Okay.
Yep. And I always tell people too, like if they wanted to book a trip or wanted to get out and float the river and they don't fly fish and they don't really care to fly fish, like I'm totally fine taking spin fishermen.
Just whatever.
Get out on the river and do some spin fishing, because it's just fun having someone row you down a couple miles of a river. And the Lehigh is gorgeous. Like a lot of times you see you see it from the roads, from the highways, and but once you're on the river and you get past that road, past that bridge, it is gorgeous. It is so scenic. Even down in the Lehigh Valley, I've done a few floats this summer from like Bethlehem past Salkin Creek. Then you take out near 33, and you know, I've heard of the float, and people always say it's like an urban-y float, but I did it, and you know, once you get past the steel, it's gorgeous. Like it's, you know, I don't want to say wilderness, but you know, it's really pretty. It's cool. Yeah.
I think that's the coolest part of the like floating down is just
Yeah.
it's just all new stuff constantly.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never actually done a float trip, but
It's so accessible to, you know, obviously the whole river.
right.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say that you like the floating more than waiting?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's fun. Like a lot of times I'll kind of talk people into a float trip if they say, hey, I want to do a full day wade trip. It's like, oh, why don't you be in a boat for a day?
I got a question. This is always like trip my trigger. When you float down, how do you get back up? Like
So-
you have two vehicles?
Yeah, you can either do two vehicles or you have a shuttle service. So on the upper Delaware or like a lot of fisheries that have that, a lot of guide services stuff, there's people that offer shuttles. And yeah, you can leave a key or leave a code to your truck and, you know, leave some cash in the visor and just set that up in advance. And then during the trip, they come down and shuttle your vehicle. But I've found some people in the Lehigh, just locals who help me out. And there's also a shuttle service that does like bikes and rafts along the rail trail. And he does it as well. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. The first time I saw that freaked the fuck out of me.
What's that, a shuttle?
Yeah,
okay.
Because I was just like, how the fuck are we going to come back up?
Yeah.
And then we did the float, and then the car was at the end. I was just like, what the fuck? Well, hold on a
Yeah,
second.
for sure.
And then they're like, yeah, you just put the key in your gas can, and like,
Yeah.
you know, just boop, and
Yep.
then just leave.
Or
Like you said,
somewhere.
money.
Hide
yeah.
it somewhere.
And
Yeah.
then just when you call them, it's like, oh, you know, whatever, Toyota, whatever.
Yep.
The keys are whatever, so you tell them, and by the time you get to the other side, your car is already all the way down there.
Yeah, it's super cool. You know, in an area where you know, I'm trying to think of the word where there's, I don't know, but yeah, when there's like a ton of fishermen on a river and there's a lot of shuttle services. But like me and my buddy Mark, me, my wife, him, and his wife Jess, went out to Montana with them a couple times, and that's awesome out there. But out there, like I remember the one time we wanted to do a float on one of the rivers out there, and we had to call a shuttle service. A lot of people were booked up. It was like a last minute trip.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, this is X and X shuttle service, and leave us a message, and we'll take care of you. And there's like no service out there, so
Yeah.
like you leave a message, and it's like,
Good
God,
luck.
I hope you got that.
Yeah, good luck.
So yeah, so then you're floating a river in Montana, and you get to the takeout, and you're just like, is the truck there? Is the truck there?
Oh man.
But yeah, the truck was there. So
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy, though.
yeah.
If you've never done it, that's one question that you always ask. And
Yeah.
I thought they were going to pick us up and then take us back up there, but no.
Yeah.
I bring the whole fucking...
We never missed a shuttle where someone didn't get us. We missed a takeout before on the upper Delaware, but that was like a half mile in the raft. I didn't have a client. This is just me and my buddy fishing,
Yeah.
so we had to walk the raft up like a half mile, which wasn't great, but yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If nobody have ever done a float boat, it is pretty fucking awesome, dude. It's a fun experience to
Yeah,
do it at least even more than once.
Yeah.
I think so, because you know, if you have a good guide and he sees a spot, he will actually just roll back upstream so you can catch in that spot over and over and over.
Yep.
You know, you got the anchor on that boat is amazing because you have it on your feet, right?
Yep.
It's just like
Yeah, it's a
it's
little
just hanging
pedal.
there, and then you press it, and then it just drops, and then it just holds you there.
yeah. It's a foot pedal,
Yeah.
kind of like a bass drum, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just, so you can be rowing, and then you can just drop it wherever you want to drop
it drops right there, and then correct,
Yeah.
and then you pick it up, you just and then just
Yep.
keep going.
Yep. Yeah,
It's
it's not
insane.
like a boat on a lake where you got like a clee and
Yeah.
ropes and you're tying knots and everything. Like it's super fast and efficient with that. So the anchor comes off off the stern of the boat. There's like a little boom that comes off the back of the stern, and it's a 2-way pulley system, so it's easier pulling up the 30-pound anchor.
Oh,
so
shit.
it's really quick and efficient.
Yeah,
man.
it's awesome.
That's cool.
The
I would
first
never
time
know that.
time I went and won, I was just like, hold on,
Yeah.
this is a whole brand spanking.
Oh
new.
yeah.
I thought somebody was gonna, throw the anchor, like a regular boat type of thing.
Yeah, it's totally different. Like, someone that's grown up like on a lake their
Yeah.
whole life, and then they get on a drift boat in the river. It's like it's fairly
awesome.
foreign, but
it's awesome. So, do you rather a fiberglass boat over the
raft.
well, the raft? No,
Oh
the
man,
inflatable raft.
this is
Because I've been in both.
Yeah.
and I want to hear what you think of them.
everyone has their opinion on them.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think the drift boats are just so cool. Like
Yes.
the fiberglass boats are so cool. The Lehigh, you could go either way. Like the rafts are super nice on the Lehigh, or any river, but the Lehigh just because it's pretty rocky, and you
that was my next
bounce.
question.
You bounce instead of ding your boat. So I'm pretty careful with like where I'm rowing, and
Yeah.
once you learn the river more, you kind of know where those Widowmaker rocks are.
Yeah.
But the rafts are sweet because you can kind of like bounce around on some rocks. Sometimes the rafts will stick. That's the only downside. A raft will stick on a rock, where a fiberglass boat will kind of like drag across the rocks, so you don't have that like lurching.
So what do you do if
But-
you open a hole in the fiberglass?
Oh, they're pretty bomber. If you put a hole in that boat, like you got bigger problems.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Like,
thought
you're-
just like poop and you see
No,
water just rubbing in.
no. Like, yeah, someone's probably in the water, or the boat's upside down, or they're very strong. They're pretty bomb proof.
So the first time I was in a fiberglass and we were doing a drift down river, we crashed into a rock wall, and the front of that point at the end of the road, that was just gone. It was just
That'll do it.
And I was just like, dude, this is all rocks. Like, what happened if that happens underneath? Are we all just like,
Oh man. Well, the bottom of those boats, I don't know. I'm not sure if mine has it, but a lot of them have obviously like multiple layers of fiberglass, and some of them are kind of like honeycomb. I forget the name of it. It's kind of like a inch or two of like a honeycomb material.
okay,
So like just like different chambers in
interesting.
another boat. Like if you put a hole in it, it's not the end of the world because it's
Yeah.
it's like a closed cell system. But yeah, luckily, knock on wood. I haven't had
It's
any.
fiberglass and rocks.
Yeah,
That's the reason.
yeah.
I would have think that a fucking inflatable one
Yeah.
would be a lot more.
Oh, rafts are sick though. Like I call them like party barges. Like you can load them up with stuff and
yeah.
beat them up hard.
All you need is a patch, and some glue.
Yeah, and I mean, you would need like a pretty sharp rock to hit that. That's also a nice thing about rivers is all the rocks they're polished, they're smooth. You got to watch out for like rebar and railroad ties, which can be in some stuff, but no, they're sweet. The rafts are awesome. And especially like a river like the Lehigh, or any of the rivers around here. Like if you're doing smallies in the summer and the water's pretty low, the rafts definitely float higher. You can take them over shallower water. I mean, that boat, the draft is probably like 6 inches when it's fully loaded with 3 people and all your gear. So it's not bad. I mean, it's still like shin deep water, which is pretty shallow. It's pretty good. But, I've had days where I hop out and kind of like walk the boat down.
I was gonna ask you too.
some
At
areas.
6 inches, you'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let's just get out of real
Yeah,
quick.
and then another guide in a raft is just like blowing by me. It's like, I wish I had that raft.
I wish I see them more in the Delaware, but I don't see them where I fish at least. I don't see them enough.
Yeah, I
so-
mean, down in like the middle part of the Delaware, around like the Gap, Delaware Water Gap. It's definitely bigger water. Like I've taken that boat on it.
Yeah,
With some buddies, and I put a trolling motor on it just because
yeah, you can.
the flow is really slow, and if you get even like the tiniest headwind, like you're
That's it.
rowing downriver. You're
So-
not floating down.
Dude, I went on that part of the river with a kayak once, and I was just like, I was goose hunting. And I
Yeah.
was like, I'm just gonna let the river take me, and I would just go, bro.
Yeah.
Downstream felt like I was going upstream for some reason. I was just like, "What's going on? Why?" And you row a little bit, and it's just like, boom.
Yeah. If you
stops.
got,
I'm like, fuck.
if you got a calm flow and some wind, like you could be done. Like I would not want to do a raft on the Delaware down there just because there's not enough flow. Like if there's a little bit of a wind, you're getting blown around.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But not that.
But that's like, we get out when we get out.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's
but they're super, super maneuverable. I mean, in terms of the fiberglass boats and the rafts, they're pretty similar, and maneuverability. The fiberglass boats are definitely a little faster. Like if you got to haul it downriver, you could definitely move faster in a fiberglass boat, in my opinion. But yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I'm glad.
It looks like so much fun.
It is.
it's cool. I mean, the inside of the boat. So I have a Hyde low profile XL, so it's a longer boat, low profile, so it's got like lower walls, which is nice for if you have a windy day. You don't have
you don't have that
a
draft
sail.
yeah.
Shit. Okay.
The only downside is if you're in bigger water, but since it has the higher bow, you can that boat's perfect for the Lehigh. And the lower sides allow older people or someone else that has trouble getting in a boat, they can just kind of hop into it. But yeah, it's got really nice padded seats. The front seats above a Yeti cooler, so you can it's full lunch. So if I take someone out, I pay for their lunches. People are welcome to BYOB. Plenty of storage for all your gear, jackets. Like I've had a buddy bring a camping stove when we stopped on the river and make some stuff on the side of the river. So yeah,
you're allowed to drink in the
cool.
Lehigh.
Yeah,
alcohol?
man, Lehigh's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a very.
That's awesome.
I've heard other people call it like a blue collar river, and it's cool.
Like you said, Montana. Every time you go over there, like everybody drinks.
Yeah.
In all those floats, and sometimes you go over here and you're like, man,
Yeah.
can't drink. Who doesn't fish and drink?
Yeah,
It's a good combo.
Yeah, I got a fair amount of people that they bring some beers, and luckily enough, I've never had like a problem with it. Like my wife and I went down to West Palm Beach last winter, and we went out to fish the Intercoastal Waterway on a small skiff. Just like light fly, and we were catching like little baby tarpon and jacks and stuff like that. But I asked the guide, you have any problem with like alcohol on the boat? And he was like, yeah, there's a fair amount. Like people come down to Florida, and there's bars right across the street from where you get on the boat, so people just like get annihilated, get on the boat. Yeah, but if people just bring too much, it's like
nothing I want to do
not
than
all
waste
right.
$800 on a captain.
Yeah.
Or to be drunk out of your mind.
But yeah, you got to be careful, like, national parks and stuff like that. Like, this is my first year. So I've been fishing the Upper Delaware, which, it's a national recreation area. This is the first year that I got a commercial permit with the business, so I can, like, officially guide up there. Like I said, I've been fishing it recreationally for years. So I'm excited to take some people up there, and that's a cool fishery.
Yeah.
What's going to make you decide whether you're going Delaware or Lehigh?
Typically seasonal for me. But like if someone says, hey, I really want to fish the Delaware, hey, I really want to fish the Lehigh, and we can catch some fish, let's do it. But typically, most of the time people are like, we'll go wherever you think that we'll catch the most fish. For me, the Lehigh, it's great. It's obviously it's closer, but if no one has done it, I definitely recommend that they do it. And from opening day in April to usually around end of June, like the 4th of July, the water gets too warm on the Lehigh, and it's not good for trout. They move into like smaller streams, colder streams. You can fish smallies. You could target smallies. It's not ideal. Like there's better areas. You can go hit the Susquehanna. Or the middle Delaware if you go east. But yeah, typically like in the summer, the upper Delaware is still super cold, and you can go up there, and that trout fishing is good year round. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep. But that's mostly just because of the dam systems that they have on the two rivers. So up on the upper Delaware, I believe it's the Cannonsville Reservoir and the other reservoir that feeds the other branch. But there's 55-degree water flowing out of those all summer, and it keeps the water cold until a good ways down the main stem, where on the Lehigh with the Francis C. Walter Dam, that's a bottom flow release. So they can only discharge water from the bottom of the dam, which the dam was built for flood control, I think back in the 60s. But so when they do like whitewater releases or flood control releases, they're releasing all of the cold water, and typically like it's spent by the end of June, and then the warmer water at the top, that's what they're releasing, and then June and July it's just hot.
Oh, okay.
So the water is just really warm, and then but dams like Beltsville, there's different discharge towers, or the towers has different areas where they can discharge water. So depending on the depth, so like the Pohopoco, they'll during like the winter, early spring, when the temperatures are pretty cold, like air temperatures are pretty cold, they'll discharge water from the top so that you can sort of preserve the cold water for when you need it in the summer. So
that makes sense.
So there's organizations out there, the Lehigh River Cold Water Fishery Alliance, I think it is. I may have messed that up, but they're pretty much working with TU and Army Corps of Engineers and trying to fix the discharge tower in that dam
at Francis.
To have cold water year round, because if there's cold water year round in the Lehigh, it could be as good, if not better, than the Upper Delaware. It could be awesome. It bring in a lot of
call it mini
money.
Montana.
Yeah,
mini Montana.
So
can you take a jet boat up the Lehigh without dying?
Yeah.
You go first.
Down in the valley.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking more up here.
No, you probably could like.
You hit the rocks.
You couldn't go far. Like you could put in at Bowmanstown. There's like a couple 100-yard pool that you could
that's not that big.
do something in. But yeah, not that big. I would hit the Delaware in a jet boat.
Yeah, no. I've always wanted to go to the Lehigh, but I'm like, well,
I'm sure people do it.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it,
but I'm sure people do it. Yeah,
I bet they do.
But and also
we should try.
No, I don't think we should.
We got GoPros, they're waterproof.
But also during the summers, I like hitting the Delaware because the Lehigh, you get a tube hatch, which you get like all the tubers coming down, and
tube hatch. That's hilarious. I'm thinking something. We're gonna get some great information
I
here.
thought you were talking about tubes for like smallies.
No.
You said a tube. I'm like, that's what they're biting in July.
No, that's the.
So
truth.
how do you match the hatch on that deal?
Oh man, no, they're it's everyone's river. Like I don't want to be one of those stuffy guides that thinks he owns the river. No one wants to be like that. I just want to take people fishing in my boat, have fun, and make some money, and like that's it. I'm not trying to own the river like most guides aren't. Every now and then you run into one or two that but so it's everyone's river. You just gotta make the best of it, and a lot of the rafting companies, their guides, they're awesome. Like they'll see in advance and kind of see which side of the river you're fishing, and they'll instruct their rafts clients to move to one side of the river or the other. Whether or not they can maneuver the raft over there, that's just one thing. But yeah, it's still fun. It's good.
It's just something you got to deal with.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I'm sure you get used to it after a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. But yep,
the river is not for everybody.
Yeah.
In the middle of the Delaware, we have the people in July that come. They just have floats, and in those floats they have like coolers, and they're just floating. They're not doing anything else but floating down the river.
Yep.
And there's spots that the whole point of a jet boat is to get into speed so you don't hit ground.
Yeah.
So you have to wait.
Like up on plane.
Like, you have to wait 30, 45 minutes for those things to slowly come your way. And I'm like, God damn it. Because if I fly through them, I'm an asshole, first of all. And then there's just wakes everywhere. It's not that wide. So you're just, you're evading, not hitting anybody. But
for sure.
I hate the weekends there because of that.
Yeah, I took my buddy Jamie. He's in like all my rock climbing photos. I climb as well. He lives out in Jersey, but I took him on the Delaware last summer, and we were just kind of messing around on the boat, fishing for some smallies, just enjoying some after work nature. And yeah, there was a crowd. There was a crowd on the river, and they're like, "What the heck is that?" Look at the boat, and they have all their contraptions on their boats, but it's awesome. I love it.
It is awesome.
I love fly fishing, and I guess I take it seriously. Yeah, I take it seriously.
I mean, you started a business.
For the
so
record, yeah, for the record. But, I like having fun with it. And, like, if anyone's on the river, like, kudos to them. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's for everybody.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. But I know what you mean about, like, navigating big rafts. Like, they're definitely harder to maneuver, for sure. I took that same buddy, Jamie, I took him down the Lehigh Gorge. Again, just recreationally, and in the flycraft, so a two-man raft. And we went on the weekend with all the raft trips, and yeah, like going down the gorge. Since you're navigating rapids in an oar boat, you're constantly rowing backwards. So you're kind of using the back of the boat to steer. So if you want to go to the left side, you point the back of the boat towards the left, and you row backwards, and then vice versa for the right. So I'm constantly slowing down, steering, and then the tube, like 30 tubes behind me, are rowing forward, and it's like you got to get through the rapids, but you also don't have to get hit by the rafts, and I don't know, it's just fun. It's fun. I love it.
How shot are your shoulders and back by the time you get done?
After that trip down the gorge, that was probably like the most worked I've been. Like, that is a full day of rowing. Like, those guys that do that, I do trips for Bill Nolan with PH Outfitters. He's an awesome guy, and he started doing those trips down the gorge. There's other guys that do it, and they do it in like a full size 14-foot like NRS raft with two other guys, and man, yeah, kudos. Like, it's a long day of fishing. I went with my buddy, and you get through one set of rapids, and it's like, hey, let's fish. Like, normally it's like, hey, let's fish, and it's like, oh, let's just keep going. But yeah, no, like you get used to it. You get that muscle memory of rowing down, and people that grab the oars, and I try to teach them a little bit. It's definitely a little weird. Like, I was a little weird when I first got started, but it's just like anything. Like, you don't have to think about what your arms are doing. You just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go over there, and then
It just happens.
row over there. Yeah,
That's sweet.
yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, like driving a car, you're never like, oh, I got to turn left. I have to push my left hand down to turn.
Yeah.
You just turn.
You just do it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And it's nice, like, knowing the river. I mean, I've been floating the Lehigh for like 7 years now, and you learn the flows, the currents, the rocks, where it's good, where it's not good. Learning the flows is the biggest. So, there's different gauges along the river. There's gauge out of the dam. I think there's one near Rockport, like before or in the gorge. Lehighton, Walnut Port. So, like, knowing the river levels and the flows, that's definitely a huge part of it. Yeah.
How does that affect the fishing? Like the rain? Like, what do you like hitting it right before it rains? Obviously, if there's enough water. How long do you wait after a storm?
Oh, if it's safe, we'll go.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. After the rain is typically good. Like, it's definitely better after the rain than before the rain. But, like, you never know. You never know till you go. Like, someone can guide their whole life, and you can read a million books, and I can't tell you how many times I've done things where it's like, a fish shouldn't eat this, and they eat it. Like, just like with hunting, like, deer shouldn't do this, and they do it.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's just like the weirdest stuff, Like, I was listening to the one show, I forget you had on, but he was talking about, chew, and he was hunting with it, and just kind of like spit off the tree stand.
Yeah.
It was like spearmint or peppermint at the bottom of the tree, and a deer came over and like started smelling. It's like, oh my god.
Was that Eric from Working Class?
Yes, I think so.
And that
was a long time ago.
And
Holy
I thought
shit.
of that, like I thought of that about fishing too. It's like, man, there's like so many stupid things where, you're like bringing your line and you're not thinking, or you're just like trying different stuff, and like fish eat it. And then there's days where it's like, oh man, the water came up, it's a little murky, gonna throw streamers and it's gonna be awesome. And then it's like not good one day and it's good the other day. And you know, you can do your best, but yeah, that's it.
What do you do if you take
not
out
what
a
you want to hear
client?
from a client, but yeah.
What do you do if you take out a client and the fishing sucks? Do you like give his money
Get
back?
him drunk, dude.
You get him
man.
drunk. Lunch is on
I
me.
typically give them some flies.
Oh,
But yeah, no, I always buy lunch. Lunch is a part of the trip. Lunch,
Yeah.
shuttle service, that's part of the trip. You know, I don't think I've ever had a trip where we got skunked.
that's a good answer.
Yeah, but we've had not great days.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's
it's fishing. Yeah. It's
yeah, and that's the thing, man. It's fishing, and like typically, you know, even if you go up to the Upper Delaware where it's like, you know, air quotes, awesome fishing, it's harder fishing. Like there's more fish, there's bigger fish, but it's harder fishing. They're more pressured, they're smarter. Yeah, you know, just like what you guys said, fishing is fishing. The only time it stings is when you're out on one of those days that there's like 5 raft trips out. So like 10 boats go by you and every single person's like, how you doing?
Yeah.
You're like, doing great. Yeah. One, a few, not great yet. And then that happens like 5 times during the day with your clients. And it's like, oh man.
it's like insult to injury.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like a reminder. How you doing?
Oh. Just start every trip with, all right,
Yeah.
you know this is fishing, right?
But yeah, I mean, man, you got to work hard though. I mean, if it's a slow day, I'm constantly changing flies, changing tactics, trying to keep them interested, trying to teach them something.
Yeah.
Either it's like something about the river historically or something about different knots, different flies, what hatches are happening now, stories, you know, just try to make it a good day. Like, yeah, you can't pout, but you can just make it a good day. Yeah.
Hey, as you get years and years into this, you'll have more and more stories.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
You
for
start
sure.
showing photos of, look at this trout we
Yeah,
got here
yeah.
last week. Look how nice it is. Look at the brown on it. I took the photo
Yep.
too.
Yeah, and you know, it's a bummer to say, but it's kind of something that I want to say is with something like this where you're going out on a river and fly fishing. I do my best as a guide to set you up in like the best spot, what I think that they're going to be eating. I do as much as I possibly can, but at the end of the day, the client is the person with the fly rod in their hand, and they're the one making the casts. And it's not like charter boat fishing where you get on a boat, you got your beers, captain puts some bait on a hook, chucks it, and you're trolling, like, you know, shooting the shit. At the end of the day, it comes down to like your casts, your presentation.
That's
Can
true. You
take
can blame it
advice?
on them.
Can you take
Yeah.
it? I never blame it on them, but some
do.
some people don't like taking advice.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes that stinks if like, you know, you're trying to
Yeah.
you're dry fly fishing and someone's not mending correctly or they're not casting far enough. And I totally get like so much of it is muscle memory and just pure ability.
Yeah.
But you also get down to some of the guys or girls that come out and they should take some lessons first.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Well,
you
fly
know.
fishing is not an easy thing. To
Yeah,
just,
like not
you know,
trying to be like mean or anything or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, just taking some casting lessons or go out for a wade trip.
Yeah.
And you know, learning some of the basics of casting. You know, I'm rowing the boat, getting you downriver. If someone says, "Hey, I'm a beginner," I still really want to go on the boat, I will definitely take them.
Do you have like a 4-foot Zebco with a
Yeah.
with a bobber?
Yeah, I should. Well, I'm gonna start keeping spinning rods on the boat, but you know, I'll still give people casting lessons. But typically, if you're going out on a boat, like you're a decent caster.
Yeah.
You know, I would definitely.
Decent enough.
Yeah, I would recommend practicing or going out on a wade trip.
It just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're listening to this and you're like, "Oh, hey, I want to go with Evan to go fishing."
Especially if you're spending money on it.
Yeah, it's going to make both of your guys' life better. It's going to make your trip better.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you're not going to go to Pocono to race a car and not know how to drive.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
you gotta like have you gotta put a little bit of effort into it.
Yeah. And with wade fishing, I mean, you can. That's what is nice about wade fishing is you can fish one spot hard and like really dial in what you're fishing. Where if you're on a float, you know, I try to keep them pretty short. I try to keep them like a full day float. I'll try to keep them between like 3 and 4 miles because you can stop at holes, you can fish them hard, you know, try different things. You know, I'll do a long float if I got a client that loves chucking streamers at a bank and we're just bombing down all day and they're streamer fishing. Or if I know there's going to be like a really nice evening hatch or like caddises during the day in April, you know, we're going to be anchoring up a bunch and that just sucks up time in the day. So you got to keep them short. Yeah. You don't want to be, you know, last hour of light stuff starts popping off. Trout are coming up and it's like, oh, we got 3 miles to go. Like we can't fish. We got to row. Like no one wants to be there. And that's another benefit of going out with a guide and just having someone that knows the river. And
Absolutely.
yeah.
So I had a guy once, now that you're mentioning this, like you should learn how to fly fish before going. And I asked him the same question. I don't know if you guys do this, but I asked him, like, so what happens if you have a bad day? I'm like, well, you know, similar things that you said, but he also says, like, so if I think it's going to be a slow day, every time you're casting like a nymph or something with a little bobber, if that little bobber moves, I'm going to be like, that was a fish.
Yeah.
And you missed it. That was a fish. That was a fish. And then the guy fishing would be like, man, I can't catch it. And he doesn't know. But he's saying that just as like a safety guard of like, I don't, just to keep him interesting type of thing. And I mean, I laughed so much when he said that shit.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Most of the people, like if there's a slow day, most of the guys, they get it. You know, they get it. It's fishing is fishing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, but for the most part, you know, we do pretty good.
Yeah,
like, especially on the Lehigh, like you can, you know, if the trout fishing is great, you can always throw on a streamer and maybe catch a trout. But like you'll catch some smallies, and it's still super fun.
I think the whole point of having a guy, to me at least, is it's just floating down. Like whether you catch a fish, you catch a fish, the most fish the better.
Yep.
But just being on a boat, just fishing.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you're fucking having fun with your buddy because you just pay, you know, X amount of money to be with your friend.
Yep.
And then if the guide is a cool guy, then, you know, giving you beer and you know, lunch. It doesn't matter if you catch it.
Yeah, it's
fun. There's a fun day to be at, you know.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I got the boat is, you know, I've been wade fish guiding for a long time, and you know, a lot of that's beginners. You're taking beginners out, which again, I still love teaching people, and you know, I get as excited watching someone new catch a fish than, you know, me catching a fish. But you know, with the boat, you're typically taking out more experienced fishermen that just want to go. And you're right. Like you're fishing the whole time. Like you're sitting. You got a seat. You got a full cooler.
Yeah.
There's no snakes. There's no poison ivy. There's no like, no falling in. Knock on wood. But
well, those boats have those platforms where you can stand and just lean to it, and then you just cast and you don't feel like you're.
Yeah. So you got leg locks.
Shit, that's nice.
You got leg locks, so like your thighs are like pretty locked in. So even if you do bump a rock, like
you're fucking solid.
You're locked in. Yeah.
Stable.
My first trip last year, it was a rainy April day, and my guy, he was middle or older age, but he had one like bad leg. Like got out of his truck, had a cane, and he was fine. We did a full day float, and like he was
awesome.
fine. Needed a little bit of help getting in and out of the boat, but you know, once you're in there, it's super
awesome.
comfortable.
Yeah, it is. It is awesome.
Yeah.
Eddie, you ever do a float trip or anything?
No, I've never been on a float trip.
Yeah, if you want to take a spinning rod.
Let's go.
Ask this guy what to take to catch the fish. Yeah.
So what's
catch a trout.
So what's your thoughts on
what?
Power bait?
Power bait.
Yeah, me. I don't think I've used it.
Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah, I don't
bro.
think I have.
Well, I watched him catch every single fish.
Oh, I believe it.
Him as an Eddie. We got to start. We were called out for like what? Last episode we were talking about something. And Emily was like, you guys were like explaining this, and then nobody knew what the hell you guys were talking about. It was like right in the beginning, too. God damn it, I don't remember what it was now.
It don't matter.
Oh, today?
No.
No, the last
okay.
episode we had, literally just the last one that just posted. Who do we have on? I'm so bad at this.
Yeah.
Let's keep the wrong
My
Bird-
brain
bird
is
dogs
shot.
and-
Oh yeah. We were talking sheds.
shit.
Remember he like picked it up and he's like, "Oh hey, like look at this," and nobody knew what it was. We just talked about it for 10 minutes. So we're gonna try not to do that this week.
So Eddie is a killer with the Barclays.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
any tricks on that, Eddie, or is it just something that you've done so much that
Ah,
you're
it's some. Yeah,
Tricks that you
I
wanna
watched
share.
Dad do it since the time I could hold a fishing rod, and then
Yeah.
he dispelled little tidbits over the years without knowing it, and now I know what to do with it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
When I first seen him, I'm not gonna give away your secret trick. When I first seen him doing a secret trick, I'm like, "What the fuck is he doing? There's no way this is gonna work." Bam!
bam.
It worked. And then I was
he,
pissed.
he has the fingers for it. He feels the fish too. I bet it's not just the bait.
And we're talking highly pressured trout here. We're not talking like
Yeah. Hey, if you got tricks, that's awesome. You know, that's
I was in
awesome.
shock. I've fished with every color, flavor, scent, however they package these things.
Yeah.
Power bait, never ever caught a fish with power bait.
Man.
And he just caught, what'd you catch, 76 that day?
It was like 28-3 in like 2 hours.
Oh man,
Dude, it was ridiculous.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
was-
he even let me
Yeah.
go first a couple of times.
yeah. I was like, "Hey, why don't you try this side of the creek?" And I would go to where he was standing and start catching fish.
It was just one of those
He has
days.
the magic fingers.
Yeah, it was one of them days for me because I could probably go this year and it probably
Yeah.
might not happen. It was just one of them days that
Well, I'm glad it happened because now this year you're all excited about fishing.
Yeah.
I am excited.
Things change. Like on the Lehigh. I talk about the Lehigh a lot 'cause that's where I primarily float. But I've become friends with some of the other guides on the river, and it's funny. A lot of them they'll take spin fishermen if people want to fish, or kids, or someone brings their wife and she just wants to throw a spinner, throw a rooster tail, whatever, and they clean up.
Really?
Like there's definitely times when fly fishing has its purpose and it does well, but we've had like a couple days where it's like it's a little slow and we're throwing, we're nymphing good holes, and we're trying to target some rising heads that are coming up with dry flies and throwing streamers, and we catch a few and then see them at the takeout. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
20
Yeah.
giant browns and
Rooster tails are
can't,
amazing.
Can't
first
keep
of all.
them off. Oh yeah, but
Oh,
and then
dude,
and
it's
then
classic.
and then at the same time, like you could be throwing streamers, woolly
Yeah,
buggers,
yeah. And nothing.
little mini dungeons, like essentially like what is a Rapala or
Yeah.
something like that, and so I mean, fly fishing has its purpose, but like
Yeah, well, I was
I
text-
always tell people if they want to bring spin gear, like that's
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna clean up.
It
For sure.
works.
Yeah.
It works. I texted him yesterday because he was making flies, and I was like, and he goes, "Do you fly fish?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like I fly fish, and I literally told him the same thing. I bring a spinning rod because if fly fishing ain't working,
Yeah. Yep.
I'm cheating.
Yep.
Dude, you know what's crazy? Like, I'm not a big fly fisherman by any means, actually, at all, to be honest. I bought a fly rod for like $17. I forget where it was, just so I had one, right? And then our buddy Mike brought over his like really good one, and they're like, you can tell the difference. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
really? You can't? Person who's never really fly fished before, you could immediately tell the difference in
Really?
gear.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, he bought, I think it was like a $300-$400 rod, and then
Okay.
he had a fucking combo. It was like $40. And
Yeah, like Cast King, $40. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a threshold. I mean, I feel like once you hit that like the $200 rod mark, you're good. I mean, you're good. Like there's $1,000 rods, and there's a ton of videos online about that. But yeah, like I use Orvis's, Reddingtons. I have a couple Sages, but man, I love my Reddingtons. I mean, I know TFOs are great. Thomas and Thomas, they're great. There's graphite's graphite.
Yeah.
It's a little different when you talk about like old bamboo stuff where the builder really has to know what he's doing. But for the most part, like if you're getting like a major brand fly fishing rod and it's graphite,
Yeah,
like
you're good.
yeah, you're good. There might be subtle differences once you get to the really expensive rods. There's definitely going to be some differences, but for anyone, like even me, like I like my $250 rods. Like they're awesome.
It's hard to be like, you know what? I think I can afford $800 rod.
Yeah.
No reel, just
Yeah.
the rod. You're like, oh, I don't
It's
know about that.
Yeah,
It's
a
pretty
different-
bougie.
different kind of
It is.
person. Yeah,
It
you,
is.
you notice it when you see the vehicles roll up to the ramp. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
he's gonna be taking something out.
I mean, there is a difference when you fish with both of them,
yeah,
but the difference is so subtle that you don't like. It's not like you're doing it professionally. You
Right.
need the fucking
yeah,
That
yeah.
does
I would.
another.
I mean, if someone wanted to get into it, I would tell them, even like the Orvis Clearwaters. That's like the
Yeah.
most popular
Yeah.
starter fly rod. Like they're great. They're great. I would tell someone to spend an extra $50 for something like that versus like
Yeah.
a Walmart or Cabela's like combo. Like
Or
That-
Amazon.
that's
You-
that's
even-
not gonna be great. I would.
Even the Reddington combo that's like $120 is good.
Yeah. Yep.
And a lot of people don't know about this about fly rods is no they do. Like if you want to get into it, the line I think is more important in some times than the actual rod.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like an arrow for like shooting bows. Like
Yeah.
you got to have if you have a shitty arrow that's not spined to your bow.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
a lot of people ask that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of, but some of my friends that get into it or they want to upgrade. They're looking at reels and rods and all this, and then ask like, what should I get? Where should I put my money? I will always say line. Like get a decent rod for trout. For most fish, you don't need anything special in terms of a reel. Like
Yeah. The reel is useless, pretty much.
Yeah,
just
it's-
to hold the line.
it's a line holder. Like
Yeah,
if
pretty much
even if you have something with no drag system and you get a giant fish, you can just palm it. Palm
Yeah.
the reel with your hand if it's spooling out. If you're getting to like saltwater or big fish like muskie, things like that, like you want a pretty solid reel system with a sealed drag. The fly line is huge. Like I used, when I was younger, younger money.
Yeah.
Buy like $30 fly line and like super cheap fly line. And I forget if I broke it. I was out in Montana and something happened. I needed a new fly line. I went to the fly shop and that was the first time I spent like decent money on fly line. And, it might have been like $70 on new fly line. And
Yeah.
I used it the next day and I was blown away with the casting capabilities. Like blown away.
It's night and day.
Yeah,
It's
and I
just
will
great.
tell people like always
Yeah.
put more money than you think that
On
you
the
need
fly-
into
yeah.
a fly line. Like I wouldn't go with an entry level fly line. Spend an extra $20 to get a decent fly line.
Is it mostly castability or is there other things you get?
No, that's mostly, I think.
Yeah, mostly castability. Like there's some like my streamer rod. It's a 6-weight. I use an Orvis camo line for that. So it's kind of like translucent. It just makes it like super clear in the water. So that's pretty cool. There's other lines that are textured. So there's like a tiny bit of a texture to them.
Interesting.
And just like, a golf ball flying through the air, like this line flies through the guides. Like it is so nice for dry fly fishing. It's just super fast flying through the guides, through the rod. And that makes casting super nice. The only downfall with that is if you're streamer fishing and you're kind of like stripping it in, it kind of makes like a zzz sound.
Okay.
Not a fan of that. But if someone is just getting like a one setup, I would go with a 9-foot 5-weight rod, with a 5-weight floating line, non-textured. I would go non-textured because that's
I didn't even know they were come texture or
yeah,
not texture.
yeah,
That's crazy.
they're pretty cool. My buddy Mark, he had it a few years ago, and I tried his setup. We were out on the river, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So what is on the reel? It's you're backing,
Yep.
right? What is that typically?
Yep.
Like how do you what size wise? Like what is that?
It's like 20 pounds. I think it's called Dacron.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Same
yeah.
shit you use for ice fishing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
It
like
is.
that braided
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like super thin.
It's like a rope.
Yeah. I'm not
like-
sure how much you would put. It depends on your reel. Like once you buy a reel, it'll tell you how much you can fit with
Yeah.
what pound, whether you're doing like 15, 20, 30 pounds. It'll tell you how much you could put on. And then also have your fly line fit because you don't want to like put all that on.
Yeah.
Or what would be worse is put a little bit on and then you put your fly line on. It's like all super
Well,
tiny. Like
Yeah.
you want that bigger diameter on your fly line because the bigger diameter, the faster you can retrieve. That's why they have like large arbor reels. Bigger the diameter,
Mhm.
faster that line comes in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's backing to the fly line
To
to
the
the
fly
tippet.
line. to the leader and then the tippet. So
Leader,
you
Jesus
can
Christ.
you can call it tippet. It's all right.
That's the only
leader-
thing that I hate about fly fishing. It's just
The
the
lingo?
amount of fucking. Well, not the lingo. It's because you like if you like a nymph, then you go leader, and then you go fucking what is that? 6x and then to a 10x and fucking 3x and you're like
Yep.
you have
Is
like,
it like weighted forward? Do you have like weighted forward lines or like?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, fly lines. That's a rabbit hole. Like the past few years, I've been listening to a lot of fly fishing podcasts, and it would be like one. Like they'd have a, Cortland, Rio, like one guy, and for 2 hours you're just talking about fly line, and it's like
you can get into it.
blown away. Yeah, blown away with the different types of fly lines. But fly line, then your leader. It's typically like a tapered leader. You just like girth hitch the loop onto it. Some guys will knot it, but typically just girth hitch it on.
Mm-hmm.
That's typically a 9-foot leader, and then a typical size Pennsylvania stream. You could just use that. Dry fly fishing, I like to add on an extra 3-4 feet of 5X tippet.
Yeah.
Just because you want a presentation where the trout can't see the fly line. Like if they're sipping dry flies,
That's when
you want a little
you want
a little bit more room. So with dry fly fishing, I use mono, I use nylon.
It floats,
Yep.
and then
It
for the
floats.
nymph,
It's a little more like supple and stretchy. It's cheaper. And then for nymphs and streamers, I use fluoro, which it's a little bit smaller diameter. It's stronger. It's more abrasion resistant.
can't see it on the water.
Sinks. It sinks faster. It's more invisible underwater.
Right. The
But,
5X, you said that. That's the size?
That's the size of the
That's the
tippets.
size.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
well, how is 5X compared to 8X or 2X?
That's just
which,
the size of it,
but
right?
which is bigger?
Yeah,
Thing.
like a 1X would be bigger.
Okay.
Or 0X. I don't know how they get names from it, but I think a 5X. I think that's like a
It's like 3 pounds, maybe.
3 or 4 pound.
I can never. Fishing is always
Yeah.
just like number 2 hook, a number.
Yeah.
Like
They're all
oh,
different.
and then oh my
Yeah,
god,
and-
the swivels.
And what's funny is like as much as I tie, I don't know much about other than like the obvious hook sizes like 12, 13 or 12, 14, 16, blah blah blah. I don't order that stuff online, so I'm like, I gotta go to a fly
you gotta
shop
see
and
it,
see
right?
this shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And with
Yeah.
beads and stuff, it's like you're
Yeah.
like looking at beads with the hooks.
Yeah.
But
No, that's horrible. The tippet part is the part that bothers me the most about fly fishing. That's when the amount of flies that I change in a day, that's when I'm like, I'm going to grab the spinning rod real quick
Yeah.
and then just like
yeah,
so breathe in.
or
'cause-
just bring the tip of your rod to your guide so
Yeah.
he can change it.
well, that too. That's when you pay a professional
Yeah.
to do it. But
So what's like the Hoyt of the fly fishing pole?
I mean,
one right there.
Sage?
I mean,
All right, so I gotta buy a sage.
sages are nice. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Gotta look like I know.
Or Orvis are good too. They're like if you go up there, like the Helios is what $1,000 for that thing.
Yeah, the Helios.
$1,000
For
Yeah.
just a rod.
Holy shit!
For the
I mean,
rod
if
of
it's your
Yeah.
profession or whatever, you really enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I still don't spend the money for it.
Yeah.
Like
It's a lot.
the rods I use, they're fine. Like I've never used my rods and be like, man, I wish there was something different about it. I've also I've used Recons before. I've used a Helios once out in Montana. My buddy Nate had it. They're nice rods, but it's just
It's a lot of money.
it's just like a car. Like you want to get to A to B.
Yeah.
You can get
a good
this,
point.
or you can get that.
It's a very good point.
Yeah.
Hashtag Toyota Corolla.
Yeah. And I mean, unless you're doing like insanely far spay casts or insanely far something, like I can't even.
I think maybe if you're like fishing for like big, large saltwater fish, you want to spend money on your rod and reel.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I see. But I used to when I lived in Florida, I bought my first fly combo was a Reddington. Those $120 ones. I bought a Cabela. It was a 5-weight. Never used it when I lived here.
Okay.
And then I moved to Florida. I was like, you know what? Let me just try this 5. And I used to catch snook with that.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's $120.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's a snook.
Yeah.
And they did the work.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going like 50, 60, 70-pound tarpons, maybe you
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah. You want a decent rod. Like
Increase
my
it.
most expensive rod is
Yeah, those things are awesome.
a TFO 9-weight that I bought. My family and I, we went to Grant came in a few years ago, and I was like, oh man, I gotta get a bonefish rod. So yeah, I did some bone fishing just on the beach there where we were staying, so I got a rod for that. But
6
like
weight
that one's a 9-weight.
for bonefish. Cool.
Yeah, you could also use that for like salmon and muskie and stuff
yeah.
like that. But yeah, like when you get to the saltwater stuff, they're pretty pricey, and I mean, the drag systems and the reels,
It's
like
great,
they
good.
could be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Like for salt, you definitely want a seal drag,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sand and salt and stuff like that. You don't want those components getting all.
Salt destroys.
Oh yeah,
Everything.
yeah, it's really bad.
What's
But,
a spay rod?
Spay rod, so like 2 hands, and you're using 2 hands to cast the rod. It's typically like a heavier line weight, but it's a different cast, and you're throwing a little bit bigger streamers
So for like salmon.
for like salmon and steelhead.
Steelheads, yeah, steelhead
Okay.
use them a lot.
Yeah, I don't know too much about spay stuff. You know, there's
I've never used one.
trout spay where it's like pretty much like a smaller version of a spay rod, and they're cool. I just never never had a need.
I heard that they help you load that rod in very
Yep.
close quarters.
Yep.
Like you don't have to, go back and forth. It makes you do like a roll casting, like an advanced roll casting.
Yep,
I guess
exactly.
what it is.
Yeah. If you got trees right behind you, you can
Yeah.
still like throw it 200 feet, probably more. Like I've been up to Pulaski only twice, but I remember seeing one guy do it. And you see videos and stuff, and it's like, oh, that's cool. And then you see someone in person and how far they're throwing
awesome.
it. It's
Yeah.
like,
I seen
how is that
like
possible?
I've never, but I've seen like people bring it like a couple floats I did, and they were like, "Oh, you want to try?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
bro. I don't want to break your fucking
Yeah,
$600
no.
rod. Me trying this shit." Yeah, it's
but yeah,
great.
it's pretty nuts. I mean, yeah, like I said, you want a decent fly line.
I think fly line
Yeah.
is the best thing.
Yeah, your reels, you can,
Yeah, don't matter.
you don't need anything crazy for trout.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
that's what the backing doesn't matter. I think the backing is just so you can put the fly rod in the
yeah.
in the wider position of the
Yeah.
reel. That's about it.
And you can, I mean,
You'll never see a backing.
you can get as crazy as you want with it. Just like anything, hunting, archery, like you can get as crazy as you want. I try to keep my stuff pretty simple. In terms of like my systems, like all my gear is just in like a Yeti loadout box that I have, fly boxes, tippets, indicators, tools, and that's it. But I've tried the Euro nymph thing.
What the hell's that?
So that is, you're pretty much, fly fishing, you're using the weight of the line to get your fly out there, where Euro nymphing, you're typically using like a longer rod, and it's thinner line. Like some people will just use like mono, like thick mono to a leader and tippet, and it's primarily used for nymphs, like heavy nymphs. So if you're fishing pocket water, you're just kind of like lobbing this heavy nymph into the pocket instead of casting it like a dry fly. Tried that, not really that good at it. I like just using a strike indicator, bobber. Yeah.
Big bopper guy.
Yeah. Or my buddy Nate out in Montana, he calls it bubble fishing. But yeah.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
But yeah, you can get as crazy or simple with it as you want. But if someone wanted to get into fly fishing, around here, Pennsylvania, or for most trout streams, like an 8 to 9 foot 5-weight rod that's what you want. Yeah.
I got one.
I think that's what you told me to get.
Yeah, 5-weight and 8-weights seems to be like I want one that does everything type of thing.
Yeah.
It's what people like to talk about.
Yeah,
So
there's that and
because 8-weight you can take it out to salt fishing water and
Yeah.
salt fishing water. You saw that saltwater
Yeah.
fishing.
We just
We've been
know.
friends.
Yeah, we just know. I didn't
Sorry
even
about the
think about
accent,
it.
guys. Sorry about the accent.
Didn't even think about it.
Yeah, saltwater fishing with the
Yeah.
8-weight, and you can do damage with that. And then 5-weights, you can do smallies. You can do trout. You can do a lot of things with that.
oh yeah, and man, there's so much you can hit within definitely a day's drive up here, but even like 2 hours. I mean, 2 hours you're at the ocean. You could be
Yeah.
fishing stripers on the beach or in the bay, or
Surf, yeah.
you could be trout fishing. You could run up for salmon. You can, carp, smallmouth, muskie. Like my buddy Brad,
Walleyes.
who's muskie stalker on Instagram. he just slams muskie and giant pickerel, and like that's his thing. Like if
Really?
someone has a thing, that's his thing. And man, there's a good amount of those guys that do super well. But yeah, muskie.
What, a fly
walleyes,
rod?
Like, yeah, you're using like
Oh shit.
you're using like flies, foot long flies, that big that you're throwing.
Dude, it's like a $15 fly.
Like like $30-$40 in a fly shop. Yeah,
Nuts.
yeah.
I got some squirrel tails. How much are they
Nuts,
worth?
yeah. Put a little tinsel on them, they'd be perfect, man.
They're the right length.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
They're already like pre-shaped to get the wiggle, you know?
Yeah, people are targeting everything with fly rods now. Like even out in the ocean, marlin,
Yeah.
sailfish. Like,
That's insane.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well,
I think
if there's a
that-
limit, people are going to push it.
Yeah, 100%. I think that famous old fisherman, I was to go Flip. What's his name? Anyway, he used to do that.
Flip pallet.
Yeah, Flip
Yeah,
Pallet.
yeah.
Well, I heard him talk once in Florida.
Yeah.
I was just like, who the fuck?
Oh,
is
he's
this?
like, yeah, he's a real
up there.
deal. Yeah.
I didn't know who he was when he was
Okay.
talking. But
Then
anyway,
you found out, and you're like, shit.
yeah, I was
Should've
like,
got an
God damn it, yeah. But yeah, he used to do it for marlins too, if I'm not mistaken, back in the 70s or whatever.
Yeah,
the
probably.
80s.
Yeah. Yep.
This is all crazy.
Yeah, Eddie, I gotta get you fly fishing. I know you hate it, but I
Yeah, let's go out.
I got
mean,
a question for Eddie.
Yeah.
What kind of broadheads you running this year? Get this back on track.
All right, I'll see you guys later.
Oh no, you deer hunt. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hang around.
Hell
You,
yeah.
pretty much- you do everything outside.
If we want
right?
to switch gears, we can switch gears.
No.
Yeah,
Keep going with
yeah,
the fishing.
I,
It's that time of year.
yeah, I hunt. I got a bow. That would have been like 2016. Like I've always hunted with my dad. Rifle, a couple days in rifle, and go out for some small game. That's about it. But I got the archery bug maybe like 2016. Just bought a used bow online, and then like 2 years ago, I just got a prime. And yeah, just like saddles,
Love
tree
it.
stands,
Run-
everything. Yeah, just went down that rabbit hole.
that is a big
But,
rabbit hole.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Dangerous.
It is
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Did you get a prime because you know Phil Yetter?
No, we actually
That's a hilarious.
we found that out later. I was,
Phil.
I go down there to get my supplies for the house, and yeah, we were just bullshitting, and told him I got a new bow, and I always thought he shot Matthews, and I was like, yeah, I got a prime, and it's always like eyes light up, and yeah, I was like, oh, cool, someone else. It is cool, like once you get something, and someone else has that. And,
Yeah.
There's like
yeah,
that
they're
comment.
cool. Yeah. But
We
they're sweet though. Like when I decided to get my new bow, it was either a Matthews, I forget the version, the model I was looking at, or the Prime, and Matthew, it's an awesome bow. Don't get me wrong, but the Prime, it just like felt so balanced and nice in my hand. It's just like, man, this just feels good. It's like the photographer side of me is like, oh, the Matthews looks cool in pictures, but I was like, I don't want to get something that I'm like not 100% on. And like, they both shot great, but it just like felt good holding the Prime. Like it's just like balanced in my hand.
I'm glad you went with the bow that you felt comfortable with, not what you think looks
Yeah.
good. Because a lot of guys buy bows because other people like those bows, or they
Yeah.
they just look cool, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely, just get the bow. Probably like, can you do that? Like same with a fishing rod, I would assume, right? Like,
Yeah.
buy the
Oh,
rods
yeah.
that you like that fit you.
I'm a huge St. Croix fan. Like,
Yeah,
and
oh,
that's
yeah, they're
all-
awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of. I won't really buy one
Mhm.
unless I'm at a pinch, unless it's St.
Yep.
Croix.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean,
Yeah.
but once you have one, it's not like you're buying 30 of them. Like you have
No,
one.
100%. I got two. I got a trout rod and my regular rod,
Right.
and they're bought for specific. But if I have to go replace them, that's what I'm going to replace it with.
Right.
you know?
Right.
Yeah, they're sweet. I just got a rod, like a heavier bass rod with a bait caster, and it was a St. Croix.
Mojo bass.
The Step Up. I got one for striper.
Oh shit.
I forget the Step Up. I don't think it's the Mojo. It was like the Stripe Up, the Step Up. I forget. But yeah, they're awesome. But yeah, you can go to any fly shop, and they'll let you cast rods. Like
Yeah.
that's like the perk of going to a fly shop. You know what you're buying.
Yeah.
They'll always take you out in the front lawn. You can cast rods. They'll give you a little casting lesson, and you can feel it before you buy it.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely go to your local whatever, fly shop,
Yeah.
fishing shop, to bow shop, whatever you're into.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't go to. Well, you can't go to Dick's anymore because they got rid of everything.
Yeah.
Got some fishing still.
Did they keep fishing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't be. It won't last.
You don't hurt fish when you hook them or nothing.
No, fish don't have feelings.
That's what
Fish
vegans
don't
say.
have tear ducts. That's what it is.
Ah.
Fish
That's
can't
fair.
cry.
That's fair. Yeah.
They cry
Science.
Yeah.
cry bubbles.
Yeah, I heard about that with Dick's. Actually, I went in like a few weeks ago and noticed. I'm like, where are the guns?
Yeah.
I found that out. Yeah.
Ask him where the guns are.
I'll show you later.
He's gonna text me.
That's
They're
pretty
having a 25% sale off of this because everybody's selling. I'm like, don't tell me this shit. I'm broke.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
And then he
For the
calls
wallet.
me. And then he calls me out. He's like, yeah, look, I got 3. I'm like, ah.
Oh man.
The guy that I work with got like 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
25% off on guns is something magical.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah, that's good.
Dick's always had really good prices too.
Yeah.
Well, for some stuff.
Yeah.
I used to get my tree stands from them for like $29.99 back in the day. I don't know what they are now.
Yeah, no clue.
I just buy high end stuff anymore.
Eddie only carries this
Sorry.
$300.
If it's not 500, I don't care.
I don't want it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I saw you in the saddle on the photos too, so I was like, man, this guy went into a rabbit hole to get into a saddle hunt.
Yeah.
For no fucking reason.
Yeah.
I like the ones like, if you're not taking a selfie, you're not hunting. That pose, I
Oh,
was like,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. Oh man,
You're
it's
bored out of your mind, aren't you, boy?
yeah. Some of those days, you know, but
They're the worst.
Yeah, I try to put the phone away when I'm in the woods though. But you got to be, you know, you got 2 boys, you got a wife, you got to, you know, you definitely have to check it every now and then. But there's just something about like
We should go back to pagers.
sitting and looking. Yeah,
Just on the hip.
yeah,
Can you imagine? Just
When in
just
trouble?
going out?
yeah.
Shit, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Do you ever like sitting in the tree stand and being like, man, I wish I was fishing right now? Or vice versa?
I do.
No, excuse me. No, not really. Just because I do love hunting. I love sitting in the tree stand, and you could fish almost any time of year. But yeah, you only get like a little window of like prime archery hunting, and
Right.
like in the fall, and it's like, man. But don't get me wrong, I love fall fishing too. Like that photo was in the fall.
Yeah.
Our buddy Matt, who we've had on the show before, I work with him. He wants to get into. I sold him a bow, my old RX1, and I think he had it for 6 months, and he never took it out. And he's like, he's fit into fishing, right? He's like, in the fall, I'm fishing. I'm not. I'm just not gonna. He's like, I want to,
Yeah.
but he just doesn't have the time.
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. It reminded me of my buddy. I don't know if you know Pat Lanahan.
Yeah.
He wanted to get into hunting. I think it was like 2 years ago, and he was asking me, and that was right after I got my bow, my new bow, and I still had my old bear, and I was like, dude, just take mine. Like, take this. Here's some arrows. Here's my old target. Actually, my wife's coworker. Excuse me. My wife's coworker. He's getting a little bigger. He's got like a dozen deer stands. He was just kind of like getting rid of them. He's a super nice guy, but he gave us a bunch of deer stands. So I gave Pat one of those. And like set him up. I was like, dude, you just need like a release and a license, and like that's it. And yeah, so this was like 3 weeks before the season started, and yeah, like middle of the season, I was like, oh, I wonder how Pat's doing, like if he's shooting it or something like that. And I was thinking it's like in his garage. He was like, so I called him up, and like, hey, have you shot the bow yet? Like, do you want to get out sometimes? He was like, I just shot a giant buck last night, trying to find it, and I'm having like the hardest year, like, you know, like New Year in saddle, like just invested all the stuff in saddles, and like he just like, you know, smoked this giant deer. And long story short, like I was planning on hunting that day, but I was like, dude, he couldn't find it, so I was like, dude, I'm gonna help you find this deer. And we ended up finding it.
No shit.
Yeah, and it was a really nice deer. It's on my Instagram. I posted a photo of it. Yeah, if you scroll down, it was to last fall. But
Last fall?
yeah. So keep going. I don't have too many on there. It's somewhere right around there. So keep going down. Yeah, that one. Boom.
Damn.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Just got a bow like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
That's insane.
But I was so pumped for him. So we, you know,
Go to the right?
yeah, we drug it out, and I helped him out with that. But I love that.
That's
Like
hilarious.
that makes me feel so good. Just
Yeah.
like giving someone a bow and just be like, get in a minute.
Now, how many saddles does he have
Cool
now?
shit. Yeah, is he like is he hooked now?
Oh, into hunting.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
big.
Yeah, yeah,
We should get him on.
yeah. He would love it.
Does he live around here still?
Yeah, he's in Palmerton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's awesome.
He loves it. He's starting to get into trapping, too. Yeah, he got some like raccoons and I forget what else he got, but yeah. So that was awesome, seeing him get that. I'm always excited to see people get a nice buck. you know?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Especially if it's your body that you're trying to like,
Yeah, yeah.
persuade him
for
to
sure.
do something awesome.
For
Yeah, that's
sure.
awesome, man.
But
That's
you
a sweet
said
picture.
you were able to pause this thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can pause. Piss break?
Take
Yeah,
a leak.
You can go
Go
take a
ahead.
leak. So it's the first one on the right past the washer and dryer.
Okay.
If you open a door and see a lot of weapons, it just go one back. Should be like right there. So
Oh, man.
that's an awesome picture.
Yeah.
I would love to do this.
It is
Just once.
It is a fun time to do it,
The problem is
and it's not that expensive. It's like $250 for a whole day
really?
because it's 500. So usually, I don't know how much he charges, but usually, like trout floats are like $500-600 but that's 2 anglers. So you split that in half.
Oh, okay. You know what we should do?
What?
We should like link up with him and do a Evan Makuvek / Craving Wild. Like we'll cook for the
Oh shit!
people. Like they'll meet us somewhere and we'll cook for them. That'd be
You ready
sick.
to float down?
I'd have Gunner, but he's all being all gay and shit in Kansas. Can't afford him anymore. He's big time in it.
Big time in. That's funny. Yeah, no, it is fun, man. I enjoy every time I do it. It's just being in the water fishing. It's fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's great.
$550.
How much you charge it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Divide that by 2. $275.
Dude, I'm thinking it was gonna be that a person. Like I'm
No.
thinking $1,000.
Yeah, I thought it was more expensive than that.
No.
That's all I'm gonna do. That'll get my fishing fix, and then I can move on to.
I doubt that'll get your fix. I mean, you go there with a professional, and then you catch fish, and then you're gonna be like, "Fucking, now I gotta fucking save another $275 so I can do this."
I'm
next
gonna
month."
save another $20,000 and buy a fucking boat. That's the problem, Antonio.
Yeah,
But see here, I would really get into fishing, but you know how big into turkey hunting I am. So I just can't.
anyways, smack him for me, please.
You're closer.
Throw that antler at him, bro.
Now the boat, like the boat was an investment, but you can make money with it, and that was like the biggest thing is
You don't need to sell this to me.
No,
Yeah, I know, but like
Sell to yourself.
I
but
gotta
you don't need to sell
no,
it.
I gotta sell it to. I had to sell it to my wife, who was like,
Oh, she's listening.
it's
It was worth it, girl.
no, it's like it's and she's been absolutely amazing in the whole process. Like
That's cool.
She's always stood behind me. But no, I guess this. I'm not trying to sell it to her, but
Sounds like
yeah,
it.
sorry, but what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
I forget. I lost my train.
That's
of
all
thought.
right.
It
I
happens-
lost my
it
train
happens
of
all the
thought.
time.
Listen, if you get that boat, just remember you can't go by yourself. That's all there is.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, once you get it, you're not fishing. You're
There's
rowing.
4 people in this room.
But he has his own boat.
That's true.
But here's the thing with that though. Like
I like that.
you're rowing. You're not bringing someone on to be like.
You're wrong. You can't fish by
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
I just want to do it
There's-
for the workout.
There's
yeah, okay.
there's some areas like that. It's it's very very
awesome.
calm, and you can tell your buddy, hey, get on the oars, man. I'm fishing now.
Yeah.
But other areas you want to you want to be careful with it.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. I just love being on the water, and I can't be away from it. And I got 2 little boys, and trying to find this side hustle, and like that was it. Like this is my way to be on the river and not feel guilty about being away
Yeah.
from the house. Like I can still make some money, and I'm on the river. I just got to be near it.
That's awesome.
I got to be near it.
Have you taken fishing yet? The kids?
Yeah, like little
Bluegills?
Scooby Doo poles, and yeah, we got some bluegills. this summer he's really gonna like it. So we took the boat on Beltsville last summer, and my oldest Jackson, he was awesome. He on the lake, not on that boat.
That boat?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, on the drift boat.
I
Yeah.
didn't see you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I'll be on it more. But yeah, my oldest Jackson, he was super fun. He loved it. You know, he's like hanging off the side, like running his fingers through the water.
Yeah.
You know, doing like 4
That's
miles an
awesome.
hour with the trolling motor. And then, but my youngest Andrew, he just wanted to get out of the boat. You know, he's only 2. He just wanted to get out of the boat the whole time. So
Yeah.
Teresa, my wife, is like trying to keep him in the boat the entire time. So it wasn't really too enjoyable. But yeah, I'm gonna be getting him into it.
I got my daughter into it by well, at first I got her into just fishing stuff, and then she was like sort of like losing, you know, I don't know if I want to fish type of thing, and then I not made her, but I was like, do you want to make the bait for the fish with me, and we can make the collars? She
Yeah.
was like, what?
Yeah.
And then we started making, like, at that age she was pink was her fucking everything had to be pink. So we made pink dough, like little dough balls, and
Yeah.
that's how we catch. And then it was like, do you want hot dogs? They're pink. And she's like, yes, I want hot dogs. Now she grabs the fishing rod without bait, just the hook, and catches the bluegills with the hook by itself.
That's awesome.
That's all she does. She's like, oh, I can do it without the bait. What? I'm like, bro, good for you.
That is awesome.
Good for you.
Heck
She
yeah.
loves that shit.
Yeah, like I have a tying desk in my basement.
Yeah.
I tie flies all winter. It's a problem. But you know, my oldest Jackson, he comes down, and every now and then he'll like come sit on my lap, and I kind of like show him the ropes,
Yeah.
how to turn this, and we just kind of like make some like Frankenstein contraptions. But
Yeah.
you know, I always want to tell myself to let him tie. Like if he just wants to go
Yeah.
down there and just booger stuff up on a hook and
Yeah.
waste some material, and you know, it's not wasting it. Like I want him to get into it, and
Yeah.
my dad got me into it. Like I said before, it was like first grade when, you know, he was tying flies at the table, and I started tying some stuff, and whenever he would get that fly tying box out, I was like, oh sweet,
Yeah.
we're gonna do something with dad, and
That's cool.
we're gonna be tying flies. And
Yeah, that's
sorry,
awesome.
yeah, I know I used a lot of your material, Dad, so that's the future.
That's all right.
But yeah, but you know, even just that, you know, how much tying material can a kid waste? You know, it might be $5 here, $5 there,
Yeah.
but
You
At-
waste that
at-
by yourself.
yeah, but I mean, at least in my mind, like, even if it's a little bit through their childhood, you know, through my boys' childhood, like, you know, they can use that stuff if they're gonna get into it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
It is. It is. It's funny that it's like kind of like payback on you now. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna waste your shit. when
Yeah.
you were
Dude, I would have laughed
yeah,
if I was in Bellsville and I'll see a fucking.
just
yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
what
you
the
will.
hell?
There's
What the-
not a lot of those, and I mean,
Never.
Yeah, like,
I have never seen
I
one.
launched that, and you get looks. Like,
Oh, of
people are like,
course.
what is that? You
Yeah.
know, like even like
That's supposed to be
the
in a lake.
wardens and the guys that work at the parks are like, what does that need a registry? Like, what is the sticker for that? I was like, I don't know.
Need a
Yeah,
registration.
it
That's hysterical. Dude.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
hysterical.
that was a funny story with that, but yeah, even like the park guys are like, I don't know, like, yeah, you're good.
Good for you, man. Take him.
Yeah, I'll tell you that story.
I'll tell you
Off
some
the
secret
record.
fucking bluegills spot at Bellsville.
All right, yeah.
For the kids.
But yeah, I grew up in the area. Like, you know, we always went to Beltsville
Yeah.
as kids, and we started on like a little Zodiac raft, and then upgraded to the aluminum fishing boat. And
The Dead Ocean. That's what
yeah,
that place is called.
yeah.
whew, doing some winter camping.
Yeah, so that was
It's a cross-country ski that you did or some shit like that, right?
that's up in the Adirondack. So that's my buddy Jamie. He's my best friend. He's always climbing with me, and he fly fishes too. He took me up to Pulaski, my first time in Pulaski. But yeah, so that's the Adirondacks. We've been going up there for years for winter camping and ice climbing and rock climbing, and it's super fun. So for that trip, we have touring skis. Like, they're more popular out west, but you pretty much have like, it's like a burly cross country ski to where you can lock everything down and ski hard downhill. So you can put some skins on the bottom of the skis and skin uphill instead of snowshoeing. And it was like
Is that so it grips? Is that what
yeah,
that
so
means?
so
Okay.
it grips, so it'll like, you can slide your feet going uphill, and then going downhill it slides. Yeah,
Nice.
it's sweet. Like, if you're into snowshoeing, and then you discover that those snowshoes are in the dumpster the next day. Like,
Really?
it is sick. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, and you can use them just as regular like cross country skis. Like I'll take them to West End Regional after a snow, and just boot some trail.
I can just see Eddie
fun.
now, 13 miles back with a beaver on his back.
No, it's sick. So it's cool just like cross country skiing, in the snow in general. But like when you go up something like Mount Marcy, or there's a ton of bigger mountains. I know there's probably some mountain people that are listening, but you're going 6 miles uphill, and then you get to enjoy the downhill. Mm-hmm. It's cool.
We should have you back and only talk about like camping, because I have a bajillion questions about winter camping, because I want to get into winter camping.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've spent a handful of nights up there in like single-digit temperatures and dealing with
So we almost died once.
frozen water and
how do you keep your man? Fuck it, let's just talk about it.
No, that would take fucking 17 hours, dude. Are you ready? Okay.
We'll do like a
Do you need a refill?
preview.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
do a little.
How do you keep your water from freezing?
Yeah.
A. And what's your method of
Water filtration.
fire
Yeah.
Okay, so
to cook with, I should say.
Gotcha. So water for freezing. You're carrying water in. I like those platypus bags, so we'll do like 2 liters of those. If it's super, super cold, like it'll definitely get slushy on the hike in. Some guys will just like keep them in their jackets, keep the water in their jackets. Some guys will put like my uncle Chris, shout out to Uncle Chris. He puts a little bit of salt in his water, and it gives you like a little bit of electrolytes, but also helps the water from freezing a little bit easier. But like the biggest thing is at night. Like you just got to put your water in your sleeping bag. If it's really cold, like single digits or below, you got to heat it up in the stove before you go to bed. Pour it in your sleeping bag, and you still wake up and it's like really, really cold. And then in terms of fire, we typically go in the high peaks, the Adirondack high peaks. So you're not allowed, or the Eastern Adirondack high peaks. You're not allowed to have open fires there, but you can bring stoves. Like any sort of like gas stove. So the iso butane stoves, like those regular MSR screw-on ones, they're good down to like, when you get into the 20s, they're a little tricky. You got to warm them up. Then you'd want white gas to use those. So that's just a liquid, and then you compress it in a little bottle. And the stove itself, you turn it on, a little bit of a liquid comes out into the stove. You light that liquid, and that heats up the metal components of the stove. And once that heats up, that liquid fuel that's running through the stove turns into a gas, and then that's what lights, and you use that. And then you just got to pump that bottle a couple times, and
it holds pressure once it starts going, or you just got to keep going like every
every now and then you give it a couple pumps, and it's good. But it won't, like, your flame won't die in like super cold weather.
Okay. Where do you get that fuel at? Is it just like you buy the fuel at any any camping place or something?
Any camping place will have it. Yeah.
Dude, I went to REI once.
Don't try to get on a plane with it.
How do you know this, Evan?
Yeah. I've never.
It's not my bag, bro.
No, I've never tried to. I've had like TSA open up my buddy's bag, and it's just like a bunch of climbing gear. It's just like a bag of metal parts, and they're like, "What is that?" It's from like carabiners and cams and stuff. But
have you ever tried bringing
power bank? Did you know power banks are illegal in airlines?
Depends.
I got in trouble for it.
Really?
Going to Texas. Yeah.
Did you check it?
No, it was like it was in my
like a battery.
Yeah, like a little. Like a normal.
It depends on how many watts is in it.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
because not a huge. That's a question for my wife. She knows all about air travel.
I'm pretty sure it's the size of the.
I was like shocked because my thing got pulled to the side. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I think I could be totally wrong, but I think if you can't check some things, but you can carry them on. Cause it's like
this was a carry on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the wattage of your external hardware.
Yeah, because I guess because lithium batteries explode.
Yeah,
dude, do you know how many fucking cameras and camera batteries I've?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Your cell phone.
Yeah, your cell phone's.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right, we'll stop with the camping there.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
I'd love to come back for a winter camping one. That'd be
because what did we get down to, like high teens? We're not going to tell a story for the 77th time in this episode.
16. It was the lowest.
We'll hear it after.
It was one of our earlier ones where we just
Okay.
talked about it because it was just a hunting trip and then it turned into more of like a survival trip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
we still do it.
I don't know what the challenge of trying to stay warm, right?
Yeah,
Like-
man.
He fucking brought wet wipes
Okay.
and don't froze.
Yeah.
And he
So you
couldn't
got
wipe
some-
his butt.
Yeah, you want some
aloe
teepee.
freezes.
Hey, here's another for those hunters. This year, when you're rolling up teepee and it was Ziploc, it's like, oh, that thing's big. I took a whole wad of toilet paper, rolled it up, and I have a vacuum sealer, and I vac sealed
No shit.
Oh,
little
shit.
card decks of toilet paper. Thing is dense. Like you could fit so much toilet paper into
And
this
it's,
like
because
little
it's not like
thing.
you never you always use it. That's a great
Right,
idea.
yeah. So like, and then I was thinking like, oh, once you open it, you can't really put the genie back into the bottle. So like I did like 3 of them. I never had to use them. I'm pretty
awesome.
good like that, but yeah, it's a nice little tip.
Don't bring wet wipes.
yeah, don't
Dude wipes are not
As
good.
nice as they can be, situations like that. Yeah, not great in
Yeah.
cold weather.
Nope.
That's
Where
fine.
else did we screw up?
Oh, I screwed up a bunch of stuff.
Oh, I put-
water filtration. We almost damaged that shit.
Yeah,
You ever hear the Grail? I'm sure you have.
No.
Grayl.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's the best cup ever for filtering water. I'll have to show it to you. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's actually I'll show it to you.
Okay.
You fill up the container and then you push it down, and that filters the water up through.
Gotcha.
But they have a titanium one that it also doubles as
A stove.
As a stove.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
That's pretty
For
cool.
like dual
Yeah.
purpose use. Yeah, it's
We actually just bought meaning me. My buddy got it at Ramsey Outdoors but the Sea to Summit collapsible pots. So it's either titanium or aluminum bottom, and then it's a silicone sides that
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
a half-inch thick.
yeah,
right?
they're like super thin, like a dinner plate. You could boil like 3 liters of water in them. Or they're for winter camping, if you got to melt snow, you can just like hog this thing up with snow,
Oh,
melt
shit.
a bunch of snow, and you're not carrying around like
Yeah.
a turkey frying pot or backpacking. It's like pretty small. So those are pretty. Those
That's awesome.
those are pretty sweet. But yeah, the staying warm thing, like, oh man, that's just gear. Spending money on good gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that there's nothing cheap about any of that.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
getting that cold.
Yeah, down pants. Like you want a good sleeping bag, but like I just bought a pair of Kuiu they're down pants.
Super Down Pro.
Yeah, for
Phenomenal.
hunting up in New York, and I was like, oh, these are gonna be sweet for winter backpacking. But yeah, threw those on, a pair of down booties. Essential winter camping, like essential. Once you get to camp, whether it's the lean-to tent, you put these down booties on, and yeah, your feet are toasty warm. Those are awesome too. That's a winter camping essential.
the more your life is threatened by death, the more equipment you gotta carry up with that fucking
Yeah.
mountain, bro.
And it's funny because now you're like, I can't justify $700 sleeping bag. When you're freezing your ass off in a mountain, you'd pay
Yeah.
$1,400 for that sleeping bag.
That's actually pretty funny. Like I'm definitely a gear nut, and my uncle took me to the Boundary Waters in Minnesota after I graduated high school in 2010 for a 7-day canoe trip in the Minnesota's Boundary Waters, and yeah, that was like the first experience I had. Like I didn't have any gear. Like I used my dad's frame backpack from like the 70s, you know. And but
80
after
pounds.
yeah, but after that, like I got home and I started like buying my stuff with my little college money that I had. But the first sleeping bag I bought was like an LL Bean 30-degree down bag, and I still have that today.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yeah, it's it's like the nicest thing I ever bought from LL Bean for as gear savvy as I am. But I still use that, and like on super cold trips, I just have a pretty cheap synthetic, another LL Bean bag actually that I just strap to the outside of my back and just use that as well. Like I never bit the bullet for a high dollar sleeping bag, but everything else, I bought the right gear.
It's just
Yeah.
heavy. I think it's the heavy part. What's
Yeah, Yeah.
dreadful about
but we've
not spending the money.
we've done a lot though. Like we've summited Mount Rainier. We did a backpacking trip across Glacier National Park, Montana. That was a 70-mile trip in 7 days.
Oh,
so
shit.
so we did that with my buddies, and yeah, done some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude.
So like every trip, it's like, oh, I gotta buy this, gotta buy that,
yeah.
and it's like, oh, I have
Never
all
ends.
this stuff to use, and then
Never
now
ends.
now you have 2 little boys, and it's like, oh, I can't use this stuff now.
By the time they get old, that's gonna be useless.
Oh, 100%.
And then
Yeah.
you're gonna have to rebuy everything.
Yeah, 100%. My wife and I were just saying, we're like, we got to get a tent for these kids to
Yeah. So when
rally in.
me and my wife had a little 2-person tent, we got a dog and a baby.
Yeah.
Now we run a
Now you have an
studio.
RV in the
Now I fucking bought a 24-person. You
Yeah.
know, you can put cots and you can walk and stand. Especially me, and I'm tall. I can stand up inside the tent. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's not as
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
It's not as nice as our tent, Eddie.
Oh no.
Yeah, we have a.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yours is like a fucking Alaskan hunting canvas.
Oh
fucking
yeah,
tent,
we have a
almost.
vestibule. It's a beautiful,
Hell yeah.
like a large
stove.
vestibule.
Stove.
Oh no,
Okay.
no, that was we couldn't afford that one
Okay.
at that point in time. Craving Wild was real small at that point in time.
It was for Delaware too, so you
No,
needed
that-
a stove.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for early season. But that is actually something that we've talked about a lot. Is
stove.
again, like a hot tent or something like that.
Yeah.
You have any experience with a hot tent or?
No. We
They don't weigh much either.
for winter stuff, we go places with lean-tos. Like that's the photo you're looking at. So
Yeah.
lean-to, for those of you that don't know, it's pretty much like a 3-sided log cabin structure with a roof.
Yeah.
Different people build them, like Boy Scout groups, government parks. They kind of scatter them through the woods. So it's just sweet. Like there's thousands of acres, Catskills, Adirondacks, like pretty much any national park, they'll have a lean-to you
Yeah.
could backpack into. And it's like, hey, here are all these huts in these woods that you can just go and chill in. But for winter, like you can just, lay all your gear out and you're not dealing with melting snow and around a tent and stuff like that. But
What happens if when you get there after a 7-mile hike, it's dark and there's people in there?
so they're typically limited to 8 people.
Mhm.
If there's 8 people in there, you're SOL. There might be some places with some like primitive sites in there, but yeah, you can't like show up with your buddy and someone rolls in and you're like, finders keepers, pal. Like you got to let them in. It's just it is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the hiking community like that though? Like, is it pretty open?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like-
I mean, I'm sure you get some people, but yeah, people know. Like people rolling, and it's cool. Like you meet cool people. You're all like similar, like-minded people that come in, and but you can't like pitch a tent in it and call it yours.
Right.
Like you gotta share it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It's probably not as cool as if it's like 8 people and it's raining out and trying to scatter your gear out. Like just that photo, like that's just 2 people like with gear scattered around. So you'd have to keep it tight. Like
Right.
I'd probably rather be in a tent than 8 people in that thing. But yeah,
That's fucking insane.
they're
dude.
cool. They're cool though.
That's good. New York does very good with
Yeah.
that type of stuff. The lean-tos, like the what do you want? Camping sites that I've sent in the group, like
Yeah.
just great campsites that are miles back in the woods,
Oh yeah,
and come to PA and
yeah, yeah. They're cool for sure. For sure.
we definitely need to adopt their system.
yeah, and their roads.
We don't have Sunday hunting still, bro. What fucking lean-to are you gonna fucking
Baby
make them
steps.
build?
Baby steps. Baby steps.
Yeah, that was crazy. I just learned like.
Come out to an Indian teepee with 4 sticks.
Yeah.
There you go, guys.
Pretty much. So.
Yeah, I just learned that
No
Pennsylvania
fire
is
because
like
it'll.
alone with the whole Sunday hunting thing.
Oh yeah,
You
there's-
know,
I
like-
think there's one other state. Isn't it like Vermont or some shit like
I
that?
think there's some places. Yeah.
Maybe not. I just totally made that
I
up.
think
but-
Maine
was it
is
Maine?
one. I
Yeah.
think so. There's a Delaware has them, but in not what is it? Justin.
Just in WMAs,
Yeah, there you go.
and then Jersey's the same WMAs or private.
Yeah.
I think Delaware's the same private.
That's fucking
too.
weird, dude.
It is nuts.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Just go fishing on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Or be with your family.
But
in the
or go
fall-
fishing.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah, or go fishing, but like it's kind of nice. I mean,
Bring the family fishing.
it is nice having that like reason to not hunt. I'm sure you guys know, and it's like the rut, and it's like you just want to go rot in a tree stand, but it's like I can't. Might as well do something productive. But like in the fall, it's nice. Like my typically I'll either have like a wedding Saturday, or where was I going with this? I'll have a wedding Saturday, or I'll hunt Saturday, and then all of the kids Sunday, my wife will go golfing. She picked up golfing and she likes golfing.
Oh,
so,
yeah? No shit.
So it's a nice little trade off in the fall.
It is nice, like, knowing that you can't hunt and, like,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
accomplish it. It is
Yeah.
nice, yeah.
Or know that you can
But I would take Sunday hunting.
go out. Yeah, go out in the woods. Like take your dog out, take your kids out, and know that you're not
Disturbing.
Yeah. Everyone thinks like, oh, I want to be safe in the woods on Sunday, but I'm like, I don't want to mess other people's hunts up. Like,
Right.
I love trail running too. Like all the public land around here, I trail run a lot, and hunting season I don't. Like I just don't. You don't want to be that guy.
You don't.
Yeah.
Trail
I
run
actually-
in the streets.
I yelled at an old lady. Didn't yell at an old lady. Let me rephrase that. Because it was Jersey opens early, September. And she's like, oh, hunting season started already. I'm like, yeah. I was like, started last week. She's like, okay, I'll stop coming. I'm like, no, dude. Like, nah, ma'am. It's public land. Like, you can be here, too. Trust me, you're not
Yeah.
bothering us.
Yeah.
Like, at all. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, no, just,
Yeah.
Don't go, running through the woods, like,
Yeah.
singing lullabies and shit. But, like, just stay on the trails. Like, you got nothing to worry about. And Jersey's got, like,
Yeah.
macadam roads, like, on their trails. It's not like, some backwoods trail by any means.
Right.
But, like, absolutely, come out.
And you got to pick your battles with where you're hunting. Like, there's a lot of places that are really nice hunting that there's people hiking and taking their dogs, and it's just like part of it. Like, places like that, I'll go squirrel hunting or like something like that, and people are like, "Oh no, hunter!" It's like I'm just going for a walk. If I see a squirrel, great. But, like, whatever. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I had a nation. I'm gonna not say anything else, but I had a girl come to me once. We're walking into a field to hunt pheasants, and then she comes behind us, and it's 3 guys holding shotguns, full cam with a fucking
Orange?
with an orange on it, and she stops. I turn around because I heard something, and she goes, "Don't shoot at me." I'm like, "That's exactly what we're waiting for." Some random lady to come by here
Got
so
it.
I can shoot it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I've ran into some people like, why do you have a
They're terrified.
pistol? Like,
Yeah,
why do you have a
yeah.
pistol? Well, there's like bears and shit. You know?
yeah.
They're like,
Biggest
there's
bear?
bears on the trail. Like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Biggest bear in the United States.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Really?
Biggest black bears.
Yeah.
It's around here in Jersey.
Yeah, I kind of figured Jersey. Yeah.
And what is it, North Carolina, I think?
Maybe.
Yeah, Pensy, Jersey, North Carolina.
I could see that.
It's like the record here is like 800 and some pounds or 700 and some pounds.
can see
That's a
that.
big old grizzly bear.
A decent amount of public land and thickets and decent amount of garbage cans everywhere.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the
could-
garbage
I
can
could
is the
see
key
it,
here.
yeah.
Corn.
Yeah.
A lot of corn in that part of the...
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. You go up north, there isn't really as much ag in the northern counties where some of the really big bears come out of.
Yeah, it's pretty rocky.
Yeah. They just don't
Yeah.
get bothered.
They just get big.
Yeah.
Trash cans?
Could be. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Not a very tasty bear. But
Yeah.
Do you eat fish? You release them all? Catch and release? What's your...
I used to well, I still do. I don't want to say I don't. I used to more. Like when my dad and I would go out, fill up that stringer, and he's a smoker, so we'd smoke them, and I always love smoked trout, or cook them up, or I don't now just because it's a little bit of a hassle. But like at least once a year I do. Like and if I do keep them, I'll keep a stocked fish.
Uh-huh.
I want to keep the wild fish, and
Yeah, for sure.
in the rivers, keep that good.
How do you
good
tell the
gene
difference?
Pool. The look of the fish. So wild fish, their snout is perfect. It doesn't look like they've been like hitting a concrete wall their whole life. Their fins are perfect. They're usually like really big fins. They're not like rubbed in any way. The coloring is typically just like a lot more colorful. Like it just looks like
A healthier
a
fish.
perfect trout.
Okay.
And a lot of stock fish, like we've caught fish, be like, oh, nice, wild brown. Like, there's not a lot of wild rainbows around here. Like up northern Pennsylvania and some small streams, there's a few stream bed wild rainbows. But like browns, like I've caught some really nice stock browns. I didn't even realize it until I'm looking at photos, like editing fishing photos later. It's like, oh, that was a stock fish. Like that's a really pretty fish. But Yeah. So yeah, like every now and then I'll keep a fish, or if we're up at Lake Wallenpaupack, my wife's family has a place up there, and her grandmother like loves trout, so I'll go like fish somewhere up there and bring a trout home, and everyone likes picking at it for a little appetizer.
Yeah.
How do you cook
So,
it?
yeah.
Like, what's your go-to meal for trout? A recipe, I should say.
Well, I mean, I love smoked trout. Smoked trout's like super good, but typically just like pan, butter, lemon.
Simple.
That's it. Yeah.
Pan,
Simple.
what is it, Matt? Jesus Christ, Eddie.
Salt and pepper.
Matt.
Yeah.
What is it? Salt, pepper, pan.
Yeah, salt, pepper, pan.
what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
That's the key to success.
Yeah, man, with so much food, since hunting too, I've really gotten into butchering my own deer, and got so many wild game books. I've like really dove into that, and I know like that's like a big part of the podcast. So if you ever wanted to have me back for that, that'd be super fun. But yeah, like a lot of people, they would ask me like, what do you do with the deer? Like after you shoot it, like do you take it to a butcher? It's like you can, but like I like butchering it myself, because you find different recipes and then you butcher it different ways, and you save this for that, or you grind this, or like just do like it's endless. Like you can do a lot of cool stuff.
Absolutely.
It's true. We all enjoy doing that
Yeah.
that part too.
Like one cut of meat, you can do an endless amount of stuff with it. Yeah.
I think the problem with the wild meat is there's such a thin line between fucking it up and not fucking it up compared to
100%.
to a beef or
Yep.
or pork, which
You can't screw up pork.
Yeah.
it's hard to screw a pork
Yeah.
no matter what you do
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
And I think people are so scared, but
Yeah.
even though it's a thinner line between screwing it up, it's still
It's a better
there-
line.
There's still wiggle
Yeah.
for you to, if you messed up, it's not that bad. You
Yeah.
know, it's you can still save it for most of the time. So
Yeah, you either
go for it. Is what I say.
You either got to cook it really, really long, or
Dude.
very, very short.
There's way. There's way. If you fucked up a fucking steak, just put it in a crock pot for 8 hours. That shit will taste delicious.
And just don't cook it like that.
Yeah, and you'll be like,
Note to self.
Note to self.
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
burn my shit.
Yeah. Noted.
Yeah, I got a little controversial topic here for
Oh.
you. No, it's not
Let's
that.
hit it.
It's not that
Let's- yeah, let's hear it.
controversial. What is up with people hating, especially guides?
Mm-hmm.
Guides
or guys?
guides. Like
Okay.
you're
Fishing
not like
guide.
guys.
Yeah.
W GUID.
It's the
yes.
lights,
Yeah.
dude. It's
Yeah.
fucking with us.
Yeah.
It's usually dark in here.
Why are people hating on the walkie worm, bro? Why people? Why the walkie rig?
Oh, the rig.
Why is
Because it works.
The wacky rig?
Yeah, like a little piece of worm for trout fish.
Oh, the squirmy worm.
Or the squirmy
squirmy
worm.
worm.
The
The-
wacky rig
Oh,
for
the
the
San Juan worm?
Yeah.
The San
yeah.
Juan worm. That's
For
another name.
the elitist.
For
The
the
San
elitist.
Juan worm. Yeah.
Is that
You know,
yeah.
everybody, like, if the
Yeah.
wacky rig for spinner baits, the squirgly, whatever it is that
Yeah.
you fucking call this one, I don't know. There's always something. Every time I bring it out, they're like, don't fish with
Yeah, you're not fly fishing.
Yes.
No, I use them. Like
No,
I don't use them all the time. I don't. That's no. To be honest, it's like the last fly that I will use. Like if it.
But
That's,
why is it so
that's the
hated? If
Hail
it's so, is it
Mary.
because it's so efficient?
I think it's just because it's like
Is it cheating?
it's not fly fishing in the eyes of some people. It's not cheating. Like it's a synthetic material, and you're casting at the weight of the fly line, and it's not scented, and it's like.
Is it the
I don't
crossbow of fly fishing?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
People hate it. People hate it. If you see like Instagram reels, it was like, oh, we had a bad day of fishing. We threw this, and then they'll put a photo of the
Yeah.
squirgly, wordly, whatever.
Yeah, squirmy worm.
It's squirmy, wormy, and they're like, and they'll like put that, and it'll be like, we didn't really throw this,
Nah, I
and then
think
do
it's-
this. And it's like, come on, you threw that.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to like the essence of fly fishing, like
Fuck that.
matching the hatch
The
and finding
purist.
out what caddis flies are coming up in larvae,
But-
and you got spinners. You
Is
got
it a fly?
you got the-
Do you tie?
Yeah.
it's a piece of pink rubber.
No,
that
no,
you tie
yeah.
onto a hook.
I
Yeah.
used to tie
Yeah,
San
yeah.
Juan worms
Okay,
in my
yeah,
day,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm an
Yeah.
elitist.
Elitist.
apparently.
So yeah, sorry, I'll let
Yeah.
you finish.
I'm working on ordering my sage here.
Yeah.
Is it considered a fly, or is it just considered a worm?
Oh
Like-
man.
Like, are you tying a fly, or are you tying a worm?
You tying a worm. But is a nymph a fly? Is an egg a
Right.
fly?
Right.
Is there the hate on
Yeah.
the eggs too?
Oh.
I feel like some people would probably have them.
If you grab after it rains,
Yeah.
water rises up. Now the places where there was no water, there's water. If you pick those fucking rocks, there's worms there.
Yeah.
Aren't you matching the fucking hatch?
Yeah.
Either way,
There's aquatic. Yeah. There's aquatic worms. 100%.
then why is
Yeah.
it such a fucking?
I don't know, man.
I hate it.
I think it's. I think
hate
it's
it.
just because people think it's like cheating, and I mean,
Easier?
I'll use them. I'll use them in the winter, or like if I don't get a lot of bites. If I'm not, it's like last case scenario. Like I'll throw on a squirmy worm, like see what happens. But yeah, it's really funny, like thinking about what's a fly, what's not a fly. I wouldn't call it a fly, but I would call it something you use for fly fishing.
Something
fly-
you tie, yeah.
It's a
tie it,
it's a
you
squirmy
match the
worm.
height.
It's a squirmy worm.
Same way that you grab a nymph,
Yeah.
you grab a rug and be like, "Oh, I have this one."
Yeah.
The same fucking shit.
Yeah.
What's the difference? I don't
Yeah.
know. People
Yeah,
hate it.
So if you tie it, how can I explain this? If you tie it perpendicular to the hook, right?
Yeah.
That's the worm,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's just wiggling. What
Yeah.
do you call it?
Yeah.
Squirmy wormy.
Yeah,
wormy,
squirmy
wormy.
But if you take that same material and you wrap it around the shaft, now that's you're legal.
Still a squirmy
Right?
wormy, but with a wrapped body. That's all it is.
Yeah, people do some crazy stuff. Like I like I put like a little bead on it, legs coming out both sides, and then like a little bit of thin chenille just to, like,
Bronze bead
hold-
with a pink body has always worked for me.
Yeah, yeah,
But I can't say that on
yeah.
Instagram.
There's I don't know if you ever heard of Hank Patterson. He like does like TU and Orvis videos. He's
Maybe if I see his face, I'll.
he's not a comedian, but he's a comedian. Like he does the funniest fly fishing videos. But he's explaining like the difference between, or he's explaining to his like his bait fishing buddies.
Yeah.
They're like, what's a fly? And he's like, well, this is a fly. And he holds up a little fly, and is a streamer a fly? Like it's a fish, but is
Yeah.
it a fly? He's like, no, because it's made out of synthetic materials, so it's a fly. And they're like, is a Rapala a fly? Like, he's like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know what a fly
I think I
is.
know who
Yeah,
you're
I don't know what a
talking-
fly
That's
is.
true.
Yeah.
A streamer is
Yeah.
emulating
Yeah.
a fish, not
Yeah.
a fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about now.
Oh,
is it the same one that he does? The fly fishing. We grab the fish and
Yeah.
we put it back
Yeah,
in the water so we
exactly.
can fish it again.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You bastard!"
Yeah.
the spinners are like, "You bastard! You're hurting that fish."
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
teaching his buddies, and
I know who you're talking about. Now. It's fucking fun.
yeah, those videos are great.
What if you tie on power bait?
That's the no go. That's not fly fishing. I have nothing against power bait with like spin fishing, but I think it's just like the visual aspect of fly fishing is like you're creating something visual that the fish is going to take, and you use that visual portion, but also how you're fishing it or how you're stripping in a streamer.
So it's not okay to put a
So-
fat head on the end of one.
Yeah. But like, I wouldn't call like power bait on a fly rod fly fishing, but if that's what you want to do, like, who am I to say no?
I don't know. I just hate that they make fun of me because I catch the most with squirrely.
Yeah.
What is it? Squirrely wormies?
Squirmy worm.
Squirmy wormies and wacky rigs, man.
Yeah.
Wacky rigs killed them. Wacky
Yeah.
rigs are the fucking shit, no matter
Yeah.
where you go.
Well, it's even like fishing with night crawlers. Like people
Ned-
talk shit on night crawlers too.
Net rigs
Oh,
nowadays are banned across anything. If you-
Ned rig? Ned?
Yeah. If you fucking fish with a net rig, you're like, what? You're not a real fisherman.
What's a night rig?
Ned.
Ned
N-E-D.
rig.
N-E-D.
Huh?
It's like a little. It's like a jig head, but it's flat, so it stands straight up.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
some people use like little.
It's like this
wacky-
big. It's
Yeah.
not that. It's just a little worm that big with just like a 1/8, maybe 1/16.
Oh, it's that tiny of
it's a small,
head.
yeah.
That's why I didn't
It's
know.
finesse fishing.
It's a
If you-
new thing.
If you use that shit, bro, people go nowadays. They're like, you should,
Really?
dude. It's fucking.
Is it only because you're using a wacky worm, or what if you, or
I
like
don't
a,
know. I don't know. I
or
don't
like
know.
because
I don't know.
we
It just
throw 'em
annoys me
crawfish.
that everybody tries to be a purist and then they're
Yeah.
just fucking
Yeah, you
playing a
can't.
damp in my parade of fishing.
You
I
can't.
just want to fish.
You can't take yourself too seriously, and a lot of people put that on fly fishing. It's like, oh, you're a purist, you're a elitist, And he also has a funny video on that. But yeah, just have fun. Just go on the river and catch
Yeah.
some fish and have some fun.
That's what I
and,
said too.
it is what it is. Like,
Who cares?
yeah, serious, yeah.
Well, but that's what I'll say is there's a little topic
Yeah.
of conversation here because
Oh yeah, 100%.
everybody has always a problem with it, man.
100%.
And I
feel
don't know.
like
I don't know if it's a new thing or it's been going on forever. It just it bothers me every time I'm.
This is funny to me because this is like all
Yeah.
news to me.
yeah, net rigs,
Yeah.
fucking wacky rigs, anything that's cheating, anything that catches fish.
So
that's
is that
the
what
thing.
it is?
It's like it's not cheating. Like it's sometimes it can still be really hard. And like another one is the mop fly.
Which is a
so
mop fly?
so that's like a car wash mitt essentially, and
Uh-huh.
you cut one of the little things off, and you tie it on a hook with a bead.
It
and it
looks like
essentially looks like a crane fly
Yes,
larva.
yes, I know,
Like,
and-
exactly.
Yes, I get.
So my buddy, he like loves these things. My buddy Jamie, he always loved these things for years, and I'm like, it's like I'm not using a mop, tying my own flies. And I knew he loved them, and I had him out on the boat this spring, and I had a trip like a few days before, and I had a client that loved chucking streamers, and he got like probably 6 brown trout on sculpins, and so I had my one buddy in the front of the boat. He was throwing sculpins all day, and my buddy Jamie behind me with the mop all day, and the dude in the front with the sculpins didn't catch anything. Jamie behind me caught 6.
That's
It's
amazing.
like, man, just cleaned up with the mop. And like, I never liked them. And I was like, I'm losing my bias. Like, I went home. I started buying materials. I have a box of mops in my boat. Yeah.
That's funny because I have
Yeah.
a whole bag full of power bait after
Yeah.
fishing with this guy. I feel you
Yeah,
on that.
They work, man. They work. Like, and I was tying on, so this is like late. This was in November, like a warm day in November. So not much bug activity, but we were tying on like rubber leg stoneflies and squirmy worms and beadheads, pheasant tails, like a bunch of different stuff, streamers, like every kind of streamer you can imagine. And for whatever reason, man, those fish just like hammered those mop flies.
yes.
Yeah.
Egg sucking leech is what we used to catch
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time with salmon. Sorry,
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, they work
That's
super well too.
hysterical,
Even
dude.
just like the good old fashioned woolly bugger, like, man, they work. And a good tip for people that do like fishing streamers, like if you're throwing big streamers and you're seeing fish come at it, but they're not committing to it.
Yeah.
If you put a little bit of tippet, 2 feet of tippet behind that streamer, tie it onto the trailing hook, tie on like a little muddler minnow or a woolly bugger, just something tiny behind that fish, like they will hammer that.
No shit.
Sometimes they won't commit to that big bulky cat that you throw in there, that giant streamer. But yeah, they'll hit that. Yeah, I've had a few people that came on the boat, and I have like 3, 4, 5 inch streamers that we'll use. They're like, I'm not fishing that. Like something won't hit that. Trout won't hit that. And sure enough, I'm like, hit that bank, and they get like a couple blow ups and like big fish,
Yeah.
and then they're on their phone like ordering streamers, like giant streamers.
That would be him.
Yeah.
That'd be like,
But
God
yeah,
damn
that
it.
would be me too.
No, I'm gonna get a sage and only throw San Juan.
But
worms.
but it's amazing. Like, yeah, it's amazing.
That's amazing.
It's
dude.
funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad.
what do you think? Should we end it on a controversial?
Yeah.
I can't even say it. It's so controversial.
It's so controversial because you be hanging out with me too much. You
Yeah,
I
can't
know.
even speak English anymore.
now you
Yeah.
just can't speak either.
I
At least
can't.
you have your home.
That
Yeah.
doesn't even work sometimes. So don't
Oh,
worry.
really?
About that. Don't worry.
That
about it.
happens? It
dude.
just-
Dude, when I fuck. So here's the thing. When you guys are talking to me and my English is bad, it's because I've been speaking Spanish the whole day, and my brain hasn't changed yet.
Gotcha.
And same in the other way.
Vice
When
versa.
I'm like talking to my dad. I haven't seen my dad in 2 months, and my dad comes to town because he's probably the only person who speaks Spanish to. I'm trying to speak with him. I'm like, listen, buddy, we're gonna change it little by little because I can't. My brain can't handle both languages at the same time.
That's hilarious.
And depending on what I'm doing that day, if it's a lot of Spanish, I dream in Spanish. If it's a lot of English, I'll dream in English.
Oh, that would trip
Oh
me out.
shit!
My
Yeah, I
fucking
didn't
brain
realize that.
doesn't switch immediately. It
Yeah.
has to be like there has to be like a portion of.
Oh man. Oh,
And then you
man.
hang out with us who can barely
Yeah.
speak English to
Yeah.
begin with.
Well, squirmy wormy. Just
Yeah.
imagine that
Yeah.
wacky
Man.
whatever. Yeah.
But
Anyway.
yeah, I'm looking forward to starting up April 6th, and
Yeah.
I've already
Less
got
than a month.
already got a good amount of bookings coming in. But yeah, the Lehigh, like April, May, June, it's just awesome fishing as long as there's enough water. Last year it
Sucked.
was a dry spring.
The
It was dry.
The Delaware was the same
and
way.
I think I had like maybe 2 trips that I had to cancel because I was like, I'm gonna be banging my boat across the whole river. There's only like one section on the upper part that I could take my boat down. If you put it at Lee Height and take out at Bowmanstown, you can squeak by with the boat, but then you want a raft. But yeah, after that it'll be. I definitely want to get out on the Susquehanna and Juniata and learn smallies. I've been out there a couple times, but not enough to, call myself a guide. So I want to get some buddies out there and just fun fish, learn those, and the upper Delaware for the big boys.
Hell yeah.
But yeah.
Before we close it out, tell the listeners where, if they're interested to, come fishing with you, how they can go about doing that.
Yep. So my Instagram is at Pocono Rambler. And my website is my name, evanmakuvek.com. So EvanMakuvek.com. So I have all my trip info on there. Sorry for the long web address, but so yeah. But yeah, so that's where you can find me. And yeah, I still have a good amount of availability this year. So if you wanted to get out, it'd be awesome.
Hell yeah. Book it up. And we'll tag everything
Cool.
in the social, so it's easy for the people.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Got anything you want to close her out with?
Not that I can think of. Yeah, if you guys need to fill in, this has been a lot of fun just hanging out, just like what you guys say, a fun bullshit
Just
session.
Right. It's just bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
After a while, you forget that you
Right.
have headphones on and you're talking into a.
Oh yeah,
Mike?
it's very easy. I thought it'd be weird at first, but it's super easy.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I got nothing. Go fishing.
Good luck.
Heck yeah.